Hello and welcome to episode. Ah, man, 4. Ah, dang it. We were just talking
It's been
about the
too long.
episode. It's
409.
11 from 420, so it's 409.
I gotta do math
Oh,
backwards.
he
Okay,
did.
we
To
have
be
to plan for 420 for sure. I will not take no for an answer.
We brought it
What?
up. Yes.
We're so close to being able to do episode 420 on April 20th. There's a few factors. We're going to have to do like 419.1, 419.2 for like 3 or 4 weeks. That's it.
Okay.
And then we're going to have to do a Sunday podcast.
Couple factors.
Okay, couple factors, a little bit, just a little bit.
The way you would roll into Monday after that, Briar, I would like to see it. I would.
How's everybody doing? Long break. We had a 3-week break. We had no show on Christmas, no show on New Year's, and then no show last week because, we're tired.
Yeah, I think some DCP viewers were calling in wellness checks on us.
Yeah.
So make sure we were all right.
Yeah, I don't even remember why we skipped last week, but
Vibes
you know
were
what?
off.
Let's just skip this one too. Let's
Yeah,
just close it
Taylor.
down, Briar.
All right.
Good
Hey,
show.
We're live. See you next week. Maybe. We'll see. Look, we got to start knocking these episodes out if we want to.
Yeah, we just need 11 of these, and then we're there, man.
Real
We're
easy,
there.
yeah.
We make it. How was everybody's New Year's, Christmas? Did you guys get any great gifts? What did you guys do for New Year's?
Okay,
Okay.
New Year's Eve
I want.
was actually great. We watched this thing. It's called Kohaku. It is like a Japanese New Year's Eve thing that they've been doing for 75 years, which
Ooh.
is crazy. That's a lot of time.
That's a tradition.
It's not a
It's
fortunate
tradition.
name though.
Kohaku.
Yeah.
Bless you.
But what it is they have all of like the Japanese artists or just songs that were really, really popular in Japan, and they have the artists like compete against each other. So they play their song and then the public votes and judges vote for which group they liked the best, and then they declare a winner. So it's just like 4 hours of really good music and some like fun things that they do, like cheesy New Year's Eve stuff. Like they have a woman singing a song every year, and there's like dominoes falling down in a pattern, and they try and like line it up with the end of the song.
Okay.
So it's all that kind of
That's
stuff.
kind of cool.
It's really fun. And me and one of the community members, Cal, had already got the app to be able to watch it, but we were just like live talking about it in Discord. So a bunch of people just started getting the app so we could talk about it together. So I was watching it with Tomo, watching it with the community. It was great. It was really fun. It was a fun time.
My across the street neighbor, who we affectionately refer to as Botanical Steven,
Oh,
had a New Year's
That's
party.
That's a name you earn.
this
you
isn't
gotta
the
earn that
asshole.
name.
Is this the asshole man, the grass man?
No, that's the mayor next door.
Okay. Okay.
No, Botanical Steven is very cool.
Okay.
That's what
I was gonna say he has
I
a
feel
cool
like-
name, so I hope.
I feel like I need a botanical Steven in my life, to be honest.
We're huge
Is this the one that
fans.
gave you the joint?
That's Botanical Steven.
Nice. Okay. Got
So
it.
Botanical
Okay.
Steven had a New Year's party. He invited us, and I said, well, that sounds awesome. I get to walk across the street to a New Year's party.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in, right? Like,
Yeah.
so the wife and I go over there, keg beer, there's beer pong, there's a weed bar, and we discovered that we are very much too old to play beer pong anymore. There was a fire pit, which was awesome. Some dude passed out in the bushes. My wife basically saved his life because nobody else cared. So we picked him
He'll
up
be
and
all
brought
right.
him back
Also a
inside.
sign that you're too old is caring when somebody passes out in the bushes.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
You're like, because
When
when
you
you're
see
young,
it-
you're like, they're good.
Eh.
Yeah,
When you're older, you're like, that feels like it's my problem. And I need to deal with
Or
it.
that's the
You, like,
parent
pick-
in the room.
You would pick them up, Briar, and actually like lay them over the center of the beer pong table and like play beer pong over them.
They are now
That's
the
what
net.
you would do.
Well, then you
if
can
were
also
not
keep an
old.
eye on them. That's kind of nice.
That's right.
Exactly. It'd
Make sure
win-win.
nothing really bad's happening.
Yeah, what you gotta do is roll them so they're face down. So if they throw up, they just throw up under the beer pong
Exactly.
table.
Yeah. Spew in here, man.
Yeah. And then me and the wife, we did, instead of buying gifts this year for each other, we did like stocking stuffers only, and then we went shopping together for like a day, and we just bought the shit that we wanted together.
Okay.
And
That
that was
sounds
hella
fun.
fun. It was like a really fun way to do it. We just went on a shopping
Sure.
trip together, which we never do. We never shop. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really do that either. That would be kind of fun.
we had a blast. Like, she went to LLB and I went to Home Depot. Then we went and got like a nice steak dinner. It was a really fun day.
Heck yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
I got a bunch of cool D&D paraphernalia for
Nice.
like DMing. I got like a really cool DM setup where it's like a quad fold, like screen, and the back of it is all embossed, has like dragons and monsters and stuff. And I got a really cool dice set. Has like the eyes of the beholder monster inside, but they're free flowing, so the eye kind of does its own thing while the die rolls.
Oh, that's cool.
really?
So they kind of move separately. They're really cool. I like them a lot. I'm a bit of a nerd though.
That's dope.
That sounds great.
I got a Tartarus. Try to replace my keyboard. See if I like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
How's
I
it
bought
going?
that for a while.
Yeah.
It is good. It is good, but it's like anything. You're kind of relearning, but I think it will pay off. But there is, like any new device, a bunch
Learning
of
curve, yeah.
relearning, remapping, and like today
Yeah.
I was playing a game and I was like, okay, now I need
See-
multiple like profiles to play different games. Which
Yeah,
is
that's
fine.
the kind of
It's
thing
fine.
I've
You
been
know.
thinking about for Monster Hunter mouse and keyboard.
Wow.
If you watched the last episode, Teft was yelling at me about that.
Just woke up to violence.
but- But
Yeah,
I wanted to try something like that for Helldivers, and I was like, eh. But yeah, they're neat.
It's pretty good. So like, it looks like there's a joystick here.
Mhm.
But it's not really a joystick. It's WASD, or you can program it to be anything. So you can have it on different buttons and just flick it. But I was taking a bit of time to get used to it, so I just use it as my movement now. And then you've just got every other key to do
Oh, that's
skills
interesting. So
and
you're
whatever you
using
want
your
to do.
thumb as your movement, and then all your fingers can be like action. That's interesting.
Yeah. And then
Oh,
you
yeah,
can do it the
that's-
other way around. You could use that for your skills on a thumb. So you technically have 4 buttons on your thumb, which is really what's freeing up keys for you,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So,
Actually, I forget. So
yeah.
if you were on mouse and keyboard with one of those, is that off to like the side to use? Like if you're playing something mouse and keyboard, where does this fit in? Like if you're playing
Well,
Destiny.
this replaces your keyboard. Like this is what your keyboard is.
Oh, that's instead of the keyboard. Could you use it additionally if you wanted?
Well, yeah,
For
like
any
a
reason?
lot of games I use it additionally because like Path of Exile has another bazillion buttons. Like, I need to press I and G, so I haven't like rebound those properly.
Yeah.
To bring up like inventory and that kind of stuff. So then it's like kind of like the essential like movement and skills are on this, and then I still haven't remapped my other buttons like I, G, J, M for map, that kind of stuff.
Nice. That's neat.
So I got both
Nice.
keyboards plugged in.
Yeah. I think you need to, right? You can't ever switch completely.
Well, I was hoping that the other keyboard would just be plugged into the stream, so my stream PC, so I don't have to keep like switching the keyboards back to front. And then once I'm in a game, I can just use the Tartarus. But
Yeah.
now I just got 2
now,
keyboards.
now you got 3 keyboards.
yeah,
Running out of desk space.
yeah, pretty much.
Mine's been all my kitchen oven saga. I don't know if I've talked about on the stream much, but my oven broke, and then I decided I need to replace that. So then the landlord will pitch in on that. But then my oven's super tiny, so it gets a little bigger, right? A standard size oven is what I want. That pushes a counter out of the way, which can't fit anymore, really. Then I'm like, well, I'm just going to take the refrigerator out of the kitchen and put it around the corner in my living room and build a pantry next to it and extend. So it's this whole, now it's basically, it feels like I'm in the middle of moving and moving in while I'm living in my apartment.
You're doing like a
But-
kitchen remodel.
Well, basically, is that I realized that I was foolish to not think of it that way going into it. But it almost is, because now I'm like, well, you need a new hood range, right? The fan that goes over the oven.
There's
Yeah.
always something more, yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what? I was just going to get rid of these 2 cabinets. And I'm like, I wonder what's behind there. And then, start taking some of that down. I'm like, ooh, that looks terrible. Now
Put it
you're
back,
like,
put it
well,
back.
of course it does. No, but it'll come down. And then now I'm like, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to paint it, get a backsplash. I'm going to get some mosaic tiles up there. Oh,
Uh-huh.
man.
Yeah.
It is.
That's a full remodel.
I'm like
might as well
total,
get
like-
countertops.
That's pretty close, yeah.
Yeah.
You've basically done what happens when you try to like upgrade a part in your PC. You're like, oh, just
Yeah.
upgrade the CPU. Oh, actually now I need the motherboard. Oh, we might as well do the graphics card while we're here.
Uh-huh.
That's actually 100% what it is. You just went to replace like the CPU, but then you're like, you know what? I need to replace the motherboard. And then you know what? I
Well,
want
if
to
you
replace
do
these
the
hard
CPU,
drives.
you have to do the motherboard.
Yeah. And you know what? I should just tear
That's the
out this
problem with the
power
CPU.
supply. Right. Which
Yeah.
now what you're telling me is, because what I've learned from doing that on my PC is when you even get done with all that and you're happy, you're like, I should just buy a new PC. I just move. That's what I'm hearing from
Just
you.
move to a
This
nicer
is a
place.
fool's
Well, yeah.
errand is what I'm doing. You're just going to be unhappy at
Oven's
the end and be
broke.
like, I wish
Time to move again.
I should just got a new one.
I'm not getting into all that.
That like frame of mind
But-
does happen though, where you're just like, this is so complicated to try and fudge it. I'm just gonna scrap it all, start again.
But
Some of
call
my
a guy.
good
You can always
friends
call a
literally
guy.
did that this week. It's like
Really?
my like good friends, they're like in an older house and the pool, like the paint's peeling off, like it's quite an old pool. And they had someone quote to literally just empty the pool and like sand it and like repaint it and all that. $25,000. They're like,
Holy
what?
cow.
$25,000.
We can put a new pool in for 20. Put a new
Yeah,
pool next
jeez.
to it. We have two.
right.
Put an addition on the house.
Yeah.
That
Right?
I believe
And
they
then-
call
and
that
then-
the
and then
fuck
they-
off pricing. The I don't want to do
Yeah,
this
it's gotta
job,
be.
so fuck
It's
off.
gotta be.
That's right.
Well,
You gotta pay me so much that I can't resist.
But literally everyone was like, well, for that price, you might as well just try it because, like, just try to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Because what's
Myelin,
the worst
I
case
will
scenario?
fly down to Australia and do that job for 20 grand. I will save you $5,000.
Yeah. I would love to see you working out in a pool,
Even if it takes a
Sandy.
week,
Yes.
I'll sleep in the pool. It's
living your
fine.
best life right now.
I'm gonna buy
You
all
also bring
new.
Botanical Steve with you.
I'm bringing Botanical Steve. I'm buying a
It's a
jellyfish
two-man
shirt.
job.
Anyway, I just thought, you know what? We're just gonna buy a new house. They're like, you know, it's we actually might just move houses, and they just thought, and then they looked at a house like, we like this house, and they might be moving.
Okay,
Rather than
then.
fix the pool.
They've just had enough. They're like, oh, not dealing with it.
Yeah,
Not dealing with that.
Start again.
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
Start again.
I don't blame him. I'd like to do that with this house, but can't do it. I got a bathroom
How
here
bad's moving?
that looks
though?
like a horror movie. Like it needs to be
Oh, yeah?
remodeled so bad, and it's needed to be remodeled since I moved in. And I just like, I'd rather move. Let's just get out of here and get another house. But it doesn't look like it's ever gonna happen. So I'm gonna redo
It's
this
so much
bathroom.
work. Look at all that stuff behind you, Briar. Just thinking of moving that makes me have a breakdown.
Oh, dude. No way.
Tip over the shelves and say, I'm out. Somebody
You're
clean
like,
this
well,
up.
gotta buy all new books, all new shelves now. I'm not
Yeah.
dealing with it. Just leave them here.
Speaking of new PCs,
Yeah.
Nvidia had some
shouldn't have.
announcements. Was that 2 days ago?
Yeah. Well, it was
CES?
Monday. It might even be 4 now.
Okay.
It's Monday night, I think.
Like a whole new range of graphics cards, right?
Yep.
Are they
Yep, the
even
50 series.
targeting gamers anymore? Or are they just like, hey, AI guys, look at what we got?
Listen, the AI part. So we watch it and we're like, oh, look at the prices, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But then they started getting into AI and it was getting deeper and deeper. And I'm like, guys, I'm scared.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing that you
What-
see at the beginning of a horror movie of like the day that humanity fell. Anyway.
Can you
That was terrible.
summarize
Very
what
good.
they said? If someone didn't watch the announcement, what were
AI
they
is
talking
taking
about?
all your jobs, and your jobs are getting AI jobs, and your assistant is an AI, and
Yeah.
then
We already
you're-
knew that, though.
it's and you're gonna train your AI replacement. You're gonna train them. Yep, it was good.
There's a lot. We all know that's coming. I even recently listened to something about how, like, you know, you'll be able to upload your consciousness, right, to a cloud server and all this stuff within our lifetime. And I'm like,
fast
well,
upload for me.
that sounds pretty. Sounds pretty good. So you know it's coming, but it was surprisingly there was a bunch of focus on gamer stuff there.
So was it the graphics cards using AI as part of like processing stuff, or was
Yes.
it
So-
graphics cards for AI?
No, so
You know what I
the 50 series uses it's having DLSS 4. I'm sure you've had experience using DLSS 3 or those 2. And the way that it's working is it's giving you what people would say, it's giving you fake frames, basically. It's fake frames
Yeah.
to make it smoother and run at a higher frame rate. And
Frame generation, yeah.
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 It can create frames to make the game look like it's
So,
running at a faster frame rate than it is.
it
which works
can
really
run
well.
and it is getting better, right? The problem with a lot of the frame gen stuff is it can look really blurry, but it is getting better and games are being better at implementing that
Yeah.
stuff. But in terms of raw power, it's actually not that much better than the 40 series in terms of raw power. It's like obviously a little bit better.
Right.
But
Yeah,
when you
and
have
that-
all of like the frame gen and DLSS stuff, it's obviously a
Yeah,
big
and it's
performance update.
it's always hard to compare apples to apples though, because it's new architecture, and you'll see
Yeah.
this with Switch 2, not officially named, but most likely will probably just be that, and we'll probably hear about that soon
Super
too. There's
Switch.
been some leaks, but meaning what you'll see is you're like, people will be like, oh well, it's kind of just like a PS4 Pro in power, but you're like, well, it's a new architecture, so it does support newer AI stuff and newer frame generation upgrades, and that's where you see the difference. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's subtle when you look at it on paper, but I think we're gonna have to see it in action, especially DLSS 4.
All I saw was how big the card was. It was like it was like 4 bricks.
It's not that big,
Oh, really?
actually.
I think
Yeah,
I
don't
saw
think it's like
an
ridiculous like the
RTX.
3090 was.
I'm looking at Tomo's 4090 Founder.
Yeah.
That thing is the size of the case. Like it's so large. So it's definitely smaller than the 4090. So it's not teeny tiny, but it's not the largest card we've seen.
Okay,
Yeah.
I must have been looking.
But-
I think I saw a Twitter video, and is there an RTX 5090? Because I think
Yeah.
it was that. and
Yeah,
that
that's
was
still smaller than the
huge.
4090. Yeah.
Really?
You might have seen,
Mhm.
you might be seeing as well, like Asus has its versions, and other people will be like stacking stuff on top
They will
for
be, yeah.
cooling and stuff. So you might have seen that, but maybe real quickly to summarize, right? The new 5000 series cards are coming. I don't think the date is out there yet, but it's January.
End of January. It's January 30th, I believe. But that's just for the 5080 and the 5090. It's not
Oh,
for the
they did give it a
5070
date.
and the 5060.
Oh, I didn't realize the date was out there. But yeah, so there's that, and then the 5090 is not $19.99 US dollar dues. The 5080 is $9.99. The 5070 Ti is $749, and the
The
5070 is
I think it's
Five-
549.
Yeah.
I want to say
Yeah.
549.
It's
Which
funny
we
'cause
saw the price and we were like, "Are you lying to me?"
yeah,
Because Nvidia having things below $1,000 is
Right.
like, what's going on here? This is suspicious.
Mhm.
yeah. So still like really expensive, but there's a glimmer of like good news, and I had said this before they announced it, and I'm this is my interpretation. It's like they make so much money now off of AI and the servers, and frankly their stonks are so crazy right now that they can afford to be like, look, like we'll keep everything under 1,000 US dollars at least. It does suck when you get in other territories, but yeah, the 5090, yeah, you want to do that? Well, that's twice the cost of a 5080.
Yeah.
But I believe, and Watts, I don't know if you caught this. I was trying to double check the charts. The 5090, I thought, was one of the only ones that supports, I thought, the one version of multi-frame generation. I gotta look it up.
I don't know.
I might be wrong about that, but
I think-
maybe
I
it's
think
just the
everything
50
is the
series,
same.
period.
I think it's the 50 series,
Yeah.
period.
And that, like, because the 4000 series is going to be supporting some new DLSS 4 upgrades, but just to break down that part too, we already have frame generation today, right?
Yeah.
So it takes a frame
Yeah.
and makes like another one, and then so hopefully, without too much blurring and other problems, that it looks pretty good. And you're getting like a free frame through AI prediction and all this frame generation stuff. So now I believe it's up to 3 additional frames.
Yeah.
Is what these do. So
Oh wow.
if it
Yeah.
looks good, that you're literally talking about, you could go, I was calculating, I'm like, maybe your base frame rate's like 40 or something. You could go up over 100 frames now, potentially, even if your base frame rate's not hitting 60. So it could be really interesting if it looks good.
I gotta say, Wilds, I think a lot of people were saying this, that the Wilds beta had some of the best looking frame gen that people have seen. So maybe that's like a good kind of view of how things might end up looking. But
Yeah.
I've learned way too much about all of this because normally I wouldn't. But I started multi-streaming on YouTube. And with that, I don't ideally want to stream at 1080p on Twitch and YouTube because YouTube 1080p does not look very good.
No.
So I wanted to go to
No.
1440p and above. It's just the way they do encoding.
Their
it's
bit
like,
rate sucks.
I was like, wow, that looks really bad. So I wanted to do 1440, but because of that, the GPU is obviously encoding 2 different streams at 2 different bit rates at 2 different like qualities. And I was like, oh, my GPU doesn't do that very well. My GPU initially was a 2060, so surprise, surprise, it doesn't do that very well. We added a 2080 Ti to it, so now it can handle that, but it can't do that and local recording. So I've been looking at. I was like, I'm probably gonna upgrade to like a 4070 Ti or something, but then Nvidia announced the day that they were gonna do their 50 series, and we're like, well, we'll wait. And then they're like, you can get a 5070 Ti for like cheaper than the 4070 Ti. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. But then I found out that they're doing the 5070s sometime in February. Don't know when. Sometime.
Oh.
So I'm like, Wilds is February 28th. That sounds like I'm going to cause myself some stress waiting to get.
Yeah, you don't want to be
building a new stream PC, like either just before Wilds and maybe everything goes wrong, or after Wilds. No, thank you. Don't want to do that.
Also,
But-
last time they came around, they were so back ordered, right? It's like it's so hard to get them.
Yeah,
Well, that's gonna happen.
It's probably gonna happen. Yeah. So I was
Probably.
like, I do not want to deal with any of that. So we had an old 3090 that was in like a gaming PC from a while
Just an
ago.
old
So
3090 kicking
it's an
around.
old 30. Tomo upgrades right away. That's why I have a 3090, is because he just upgrades immediately. All my stuff is hand-me-downs. So we're going to build. I've got a new case and a new power supply. My current plan is to get a new case, new power supply, so it can use the 3090, but also set the computer up to use the 5070 Ti whenever I get it. So everything's good to go, and it should just be like plug it in and it'll be great.
Yeah.
So that's the current plan. If it all doesn't work, then I'm gonna be like, screw it. I'm just gonna have to buy a 4070.
Are there
Yeah.
any new features with the 5000 series as far as streaming goes? Like the last one, they had AV1 recording, right? Like
It
AV1
can do
encoding and-
AV1, yeah. Yeah, it can obviously still do AV1, and I think it does it better. I was reading
It's-
an article. Did
Yeah,
you know, Fran?
I've had it bookmarked. I've been with
yeah.
all this house stuff, but I just pulled it up because I knew this was going to come up too. They do have a new AV1 ultra high quality mode, I guess.
They do,
Um,
yeah.
And so
want
I haven't
ultra
looked
high.
at this stuff, but yeah, we'll see. And yeah, does YouTube support the things it's supporting?
Yep.
That's obviously key, as well as like we're still waiting for Twitch as well to come
Yeah,
around and
Twitch
support
doesn't.
native 1440p 60 frames, at these new encoding methods and stuff. So it should be coming, but like on that side, you got to remember, it's like, will Twitch do it in 2025, or are they going to wait till 2026 and so on?
The thing with Twitch, it's like I'm just using my Nvidia encoder, regular old 1080p, 60 FPS, just under 8,000 bit rate. For YouTube, it's like, yeah, give me the Nvidia AV1 35 to
Right.
45,000 bit rate.
Yeah.
Pump it up.
Yeah, and that's what people forget with these.
Pump it up.
As soon as you get a new advanced codec, right, you're going from whatever it is, HEVC or whatever version, that the same bit rate at say 8,000 looks like twice as good, or who knows, 3 times as good. So you're able to not only not force giant bit rates down people's throats, but suddenly even stream at less bit rate, but the quality's better,
Yeah, or even if you stream
So-
at the same bit rate, like your quality will be better because it's using the bit rate better. So it's
Yeah.
the AV1 definitely does look really, really, really good. So I want
Yeah.
to be able to use that eventually.
All I'm hearing is Briar's going to come over and fix me mate's pool, and you guys are going to come over and set up the stream.
Exactly. But maybe I geek out on this stuff, so I do love it. I got to catch up on it, but maybe to walk it back, I would say I'm personally very excited to see like DLSS 4, and then I'm curious to read about the content creator type stuff it supports. But like honestly, you could look at it and be like, well, it's twice as much. It's another generation. It's DLSS 4. It's not 3. But early stuff I saw, Digital Foundry got a look at Cyberpunk with some early stuff, and they were talking about Watts was, I think, addressing that, right, with the blurriness is looking better. And so like literally you might be going from, if you're a PC gamer, from like say 70 frames a second to like 120 when you're playing Cyberpunk with path tracing on or something. And so like for me, I'm super excited, and I think the point to make as well is we are now entering an era where we are seemingly, this is far surpassing the consoles, right? And so you're not, even with PS5 Pro, and Switch 2 is certainly not going to do it. We are now entering the next 4 or 5 years where you're like, oh, do I want to get this on PC? Because it's going to be a world of difference. If you've played anything with path tracing, at least for me, I'm like, oh man. But I would caveat that and finish this by saying, I know some people are like, dude, I don't it looks fine to me. Not everybody sees stuff the same way, but man, I'm excited about all the new, just ray tracing features running at a high frame rate and whatnot.
I will be leaving my gaming PC alone for at least a year because it can run Wilds beautifully, and that's all I'm playing this year. So I don't need to think about
That's a
it.
good point. Yeah.
But the like
it.
it runs it so well. So, but I just want to get the stream PC set up for like multiple, many years to do everything that I want
I'm in the
to do,
same
and
boat
then
you
I'll
are,
be
Watts. The streaming PC is getting pretty ragged around the edges. at
really
this
not
point.
great. Yeah.
So it might be time. I might just like make the gaming PC the streaming PC. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I got enough slots
Got a new
for all
gaming
the-
PC. Yep.
I don't know if I got enough slots for all the capture cards and everything, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Just
2060.
need a PC sponsor. It's all you need.
Right?
I sent a message. I sent a DM to Nvidia, and the
did you?
TLDR was 5,000's in my name. Just saying.
Nice.
Just
I
saying.
thought it was brilliant.
That was the TLDR. Of course, like I've built the stream PC with the 2060 that they gave me before. So it's like I've done that, I've showcased what it can do, blah blah blah. But 5,000.
No, it's a
Yeah.
no.
Oh,
It's a,
Are you willing to
if
change
your
your name
name
to
changes
5090
to
Ti?
Miss, yeah, Miss 5090.
Yeah.
just having 5,000 is because it's the 5,000 series. So it is a perfect
5,000
match.
series. It
Okay, I
is.
didn't-
Just saying, Nvidia. Come on
Miss 5000 loves AI. There's the new name.
now. Yeah, that's fine.
No, it's
Yeah,
smart.
leave
And Nvidia, if somebody's out there listening, do it. Like this is actually like for real. When I was at IGN, you'd get when you had to pitch back to them like your ideas. This is totally the type of thing that would come up, and it would absolutely make the list as one of the things you pitch. So it's a good idea. So, but I was saying,
how have you been going on YouTube? Tell me,
Mm.
YouTube
Okay.
streaming.
Straddle up,
'Cause we haven't
everybody. It's time to
talked.
learn about content creation on the internet.
All right.
Oh, boy.
For all
Tell
of you
me more.
budding so I think a lot of people have chosen to try YouTube streaming and Twitch streaming again. Because initially a lot of people tried it, and you did, Myelin, right? And you were
I
like,
tried it
"Oh,
years ago.
not going well for me."
Yeah, didn't like it.
Yeah.
Didn't like it for multiple reasons.
Yeah. But a lot of people were trying it, and I was like, I'm gonna give it a try because I upload really when there's something I want to talk about or something I'm excited about. It's not like the main thing that I do, and I'm like, if I'm streaming on Twitch, I might as well just do the same thing on YouTube, and it's there if people want to watch it, and the VOD can continue getting views after you're not live anymore, so it can kind of live there and do its thing. And I've really enjoyed it. It's been really, really fun because there's people who either they only watch content when they're at work and Twitch is blocked at their job, but YouTube isn't, so they can come and say hi. Or there's people who just don't use Twitch and they're like, I've been watching you for 11 years and this is my first stream. And I'm like, oh, hi, I get to know this person. That's incredible. But yeah, it's been really good. Like each VOD is definitely still growing, especially ones when we're like reacting to new Monster Hunter gameplay, for example. Like they can go and watch the whole thing, but then they also have a video of like a compiled thing that they can watch if they want it to be a bit more produced. So it's been great for me. And I've only uploaded a video and streamed at the same time twice, so I don't have a ton of metrics on like, does it negatively impact the video? But so far, no. And I've talked to people who do stream on YouTube all the time and do upload content, and they've all been like, nope, it's fine for me. Everything's working well.
Yeah.
So
it
it's-
definitely
That
used
was
to mess
definitely
it
like
up,
my-
but I
yeah,
think
biggest
they
issue
must
with
have
it.
fixed that, huh? That's great.
They
Well, I
have a
think you can
section for
just-
live now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think that
it's like you've
helps.
got videos, and that's just videos, and then there's a live section if people really want that.
Yeah, but in your
But you
case
can
too,
also select notifications for it too. Like I think like live notifications specifically. I think people can select if they don't want those.
People can turn that off, yeah, like
notifications
individually.
coming through. Do
Yeah.
you send notifications? Like, do you tick the box?
I
for
don't do
notifications
anything. I don't see any box. I don't press any box. I just press the button. So
yeah, I was gonna say for Watts, your case though, you do pretty much exclusively Monster Hunter content on there these days, right? Outside of talking about games. In other words, is your VOD content mostly Monster Hunter based?
there's Path of Exile on there
Oh,
at the
okay.
moment. There will be Freedom Wars tomorrow.
Oh,
There's gonna
okay.
be like First Berserker Kazan. There's gonna be AI Limit. There's gonna be like anything that's in like the post Path of Exile, it's mostly going to be just like action games.
Oh, gotcha. Well, what I was gonna say is like it usually helps, right, when it's more the same game, you know. And I know
Definitely
Myelin,
helps, yeah.
and that's why sometimes
I'm
maybe
gonna-
TV could speak to that, but like, you know, meaning when you dive into new games on an old channel that was about, say, Destiny, you know, how does that go versus just start a new one? You know, maybe start a new channel.
Yeah,
See,
so
oh yeah, you TV, you talk
I was
about it.
gonna say, like,
have a
if
lot of
I'm
experience with
covering
it.
a new game, usually it's a safer bet to put it on the variety channel. That I upload 12 videos in a row on a new game, and then it goes dark for 2 to 3 months until a new game comes out that I want to try posting content on. That's the channel it goes on. Because if I put it on my main channel, there's like this transition period anytime you switch games where it's like the algorithm has to relearn what your channel is and who it's trying to target. Because if I'm doing Destiny stuff and I switch gears, for the next full week, usually that content is going to be trash tier. No one's going to see it. It's not going to go to the right people. It's going to get barely any views. And then it's just one night something clicks, something changes, and the algorithm kind of catches on and is like, we're just showing this to the wrong people, aren't we? And then the next day, your views are doubled, and then it continues to grow from there. And it's really weird how that happens, but it happens so consistently because over the course of the last few years, I've switched gears off of Destiny several times to cover Starfield, Remnant 2, Space Marine 2, Path of Exiles. And every time I do that, this is what happens. It's like 3 to 4 videos that are terrible, and then it finally catches on and starts to grow.
I think the biggest thing for deciding like what you want to do with another channel or all on one channel, it just depends on your audience. Like, and I think that's what I've learned from I've talked to so many people who do YouTube uploading and streaming and everything, or dual streaming and all of that. And they've all kind of come away been like, yeah, this works for me. But like through my time on YouTube, it kind of really just seems to depend what your audience likes. Do they like longer videos? Do they like shorter videos? Do they like watching streams? Do they not like watching streams? It all just depends on what they like. So I think I found for me that just being on one channel works. And I've also just been really fortunate that, you know, you can kill your channel like 7 times and then you can still do something. Also,
That's good
Twitch
advice.
is my main source of income. So I don't have the worry of like, if I fudge up this channel, I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. So I've been really lucky that I can just throw things throw spaghetti at the wall and be like, what happens? I don't know. We'll see. So I have a lot of freedom with what I do on YouTube because of that, which is nice.
Yeah, I've definitely improved the fail 7 times. It's gone, it's gone down, it's come back. I made a variety that went up, that went down. I'm kind of getting used to the chaos of like just failing everything, and then
am I going to make money this month?
But I mean, obviously, if I stream on YouTube, I've got to brace myself for the 100th time of like, why'd you quit Destiny lore? I mean, that's obviously going to be pretty big engagement.
Yeah, actually,
you should make that your stream title. Why did I quit and get them all in?
Yeah, that would work.
I could just play a 60-second loop every time.
Yeah, I guess I was thinking about your channel when I was queuing that up originally, but I guess you have converted your channel now, right, to variety. Is that a fair way to put it? Or are you kind of reserving it for Destiny lore? And
no, I'm definitely not doing any Destiny on it. So like I went down the whole path of doing the variety channel, and that worked out really well. Like when Helldivers popped off, you know, it went really well. But similar to like Destiny, then it got locked onto a specific game. It's like I started from scratch, and then it got locked on to Helldivers. Then I did a bit of Dragon's Dogma, and it didn't go too well. And then it did really well in Once Human. Then it got locked onto Once Human, and then Once Human kind of went downhill. And then Path of Exile came along, and Path of Exile I think had a bit more crossover with Destiny fans and all the other games I'd played, and actually just did well on the Destiny channel because of, you know, it's probably quite a heavy build crafting looter game, even though it's not a shooter.
Are you
and
still
it did
playing
well.
it?
So now I'm kind of back on the main channel uploading Path of Exile stuff. So and a lot of it was forced by sponsors. Actually, a lot of had sponsored contracts with the main channel that I had like yearly contracts with, and and they didn't want to take the risk with variety. Like, nope, you got to upload it to the main channels. Kind of forced me to upload variety because I couldn't do both, and ended up being a good thing, I think. Just not really.
Okay, so you are still running both. It's more Myelin games as well as Myelin games.
I'm
right,
not
or
really
not?
uploading to variety anymore. It's
Oh,
very
okay.
hard to do both. Yeah.
So okay, so you've converted your main one to variety for now, and that's the focus. Okay.
I think so. I hope
Yeah,
so.
I wasn't trying to put you on the spot. I was like trying to remember because I that's what I thought. I was like, wait, you did have a variety channel, but then I was like, wait, there's all this content on the main channel.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. Like, to you guys' point, like it's you kind of got to throw spaghetti at the wall sometimes, and just swim against the tide, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of Destiny content creators are going to be going through this. I think that's why a lot of people are experimenting too. Like, I think everyone is trying to diversify a bit more so they can stay in the game a bit longer and keep doing it. So yeah, I mean, you look at any of the main Destiny channels, you're either seeing them create variety channels or upload variety content, and just trying to find what crosses over with their current audience. Like what says.
Did you subscribe to my Destiny
Hunter.
lore channel?
What's that?
Did you subscribe to my Destiny lore channel
Oh
yet?
man,
or
I
no?
got notifications turned on for that.
I hope you got some juice. I am so lost. Tell me what's going on in Destiny.
No,
What's the Destiny lore?
That has been your insight into the content creation world.
Yeah,
in
right?
case you're thinking about it. It's really interesting. I think for me, I've always landed on just doing fun stuff. It's fortunate. I just do what's fun, and it kind of works out. But I think that's why I've been able to do it for like 13 years.
yeah.
If you want to see some fun stuff, watch some of Watts' original Call of Duty videos.
Oh, they're up still? Oh, I'm 100%
They're
doing
so
that.
They are.
good.
They're there.
Please,
Well,
yes.
a long
I
time
watched.
ago.
It was like, oh god, it was in Australia. It's called like Dolly Doctor, where you write into like a magazine for like
Yep,
love
for
and
your
health
problems.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many years ago were those Watts?
10, 11.
Yes.
Like Modern Warfare. I
Oh.
started them with Modern Warfare 3, which I think was 2011. So
I'm gonna watch these over breakfast now. I'm
Right?
so
I
excited.
remember
It
some of
doesn't even
your
sound like
earliest-
Watts.
Your earliest D1 stuff, I remember watching because I wasn't making stuff at the time. I was
Yeah.
just watching videos. I remember watching your stuff, and
Long
and you would do like Ask Watts every week. You do like an Ask Watts episode.
people really liked it. And
yeah,
then,
and you
then it
give like
kinda doesn't work
relationship
anymore.
advice and stuff
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
yeah.
I remember that.
yeah, now it's kind of like it doesn't really work like that on YouTube anymore, right? That's more of like a
Mhm.
stream thing. It
Yeah,
lends itself
Oh,
to
yeah.
stream.
Totally.
Yeah, YouTube's more like how to hit max level and best
Yep.
build for
It's all SEO stuff. It's not, yeah.
searchable things. Yeah.
Although I don't
Yeah,
have
the
like
game has changed quite a bit in that capacity on
has.
YouTube, and some days for the better. I think it helps with discoverability because you can make something and be like my variety channel with like 2,000 subscribers, and I've got some First Descendant content out there with over 100,000 views on it, all because it's SEO stuff, which is great. But at the
Yeah.
same time, sometimes I just miss the more organic videos that were just fun
Yeah.
and playful, and it wasn't
Yeah.
about trying to maximize how do I get the click, how do I get the click. I miss those days sometimes.
Yep.
I think that's ultimately why I ended up just streaming because I'm like, this is what I did on YouTube and this is what I enjoy. But now for YouTube, it's like, you know, I find things that I want to share with people or something I want to break down. And that's the videos I like doing.
You gotta love what you do if you want to do content creation. And I know that people end up in situations where you can't always do that. But I think I would just recommend and remind that where if like you're only chasing like survival or the dollar,
That's tough.
that's probably just not a good idea for the content
tough grind.
itself, you know? Yeah,
I
it's
just got
miserable,
into
right?
watching woodworking videos, and
Yeah.
woodworking videos. A lot of them remind me of old YouTube because a lot of what it is people will just set up cameras around their shop, film themselves making, let's say, a chair, and then put all that video together and then do a dub, just like narrate it like you used to when you used to just have this sick gameplay and then you talk about some random bullshit over it. Like, how do
Those
I
are
fill
good
up
old
this
days.
10 minutes?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
Yep.
woodworking videos are still like that because they still got to fill that time, and it's like I glued this joint.
Let's bring that style back, Briar. You and me, we'll do beers and kayaks is the name
I
of the
love it.
channel.
Oh,
I
that
love
was
it.
great.
We'll hit different
I would
lakes and
watch
streams
that.
with some beers and
That sounds
Love
so
that.
peaceful and funny. And, that'd be great.
And
I
I'll
love when
just
you
come
said
visit
I
and
was
hang out.
watching woodwork videos. Like, great, Briar's got a new hobby. Let's go.
Oh God.
yeah, I haven't
what's
expected him to
Just
hold
gonna
up
pick
the whole
something,
stuff.
yes.
Yeah.
I made this table
Actually, guys.
yesterday.
I did. I made a fucking tool bench over the break.
Did you really?
Yeah. I bought a
Yes.
new table saw. I got a whole
Gosh.
shitload of tools.
Oh my God. I
You
love
better
that.
not
did
give up
say-
a Warhammer. I'm still waiting for the first Warhammer tabletop experience.
On the table you made
Yeah.
Yeah, on the table
Let me
you
just make
made
a
from
table real
mahogany.
quick.
just for Warhammer.
So,
Yeah. So
Should
what's
we
next?
talk about games or?
Yeah.
do you want to do
some
Destiny?
actually? Yeah.
Probably
yeah.
should
Go,
rip that
Fran, take
Band-Aid
it out.
off.
I'll grab my.
Oh
where's
man,
my
wait,
pen and
did
paper?
Yeah.
TV,
yeah,
did
take
you
it
play
away.
that way he
I'm
took
ready.
his headphones off? I was like,
I'm ready.
TV, did you play the update?
No.
All right.
You are
I've
the only
only
one who's played it.
I've only played Rivals this week. That's it.
Okay, cool.
And Path of Exile.
So yeah, episode 3, nope. Episode 2, Revenant of the Final Shape, of course.
No, episode 2, Act 3.
Yeah, Act 3.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
what just released. So it's early February is when episode 3, Heresy, starts. So that's later. I got those confused almost while I was doing all this holiday break stuff. I was like, wait, the new episode's already out? Oh my God. Well, wait, it's just an act.
The new
An
act.
act,
Oh, yeah.
And really all that it is
Mylin's like, God damn it, Fran.
yeah, it's I did like the first main step because now everything right is smashed into one place and cut down or
It
whatever
is,
they
yeah.
did. But it's pretty much just talk to this, go to the project, talk to this, and then do the exotic mission. So it's a brand new exotic mission. That's if you saw the new trailer they did for it, you know, it's teasing, of course, Fickrel story stuff, and I'll give you a deep dive, of course. But it really is like, here's a new exotic mission, go do that and get the new exotic shotgun. The reason to do it would be if you, there's 2 reasons. If you care about, no, maybe 3. If you just like the gameplay, it is a new exotic mission. They always have some care and detail in them. Of course, the second reason is the new shoddy, easy to get, just finish the exotic mission. And it is a void exotic shoddy. And what it's going to do is when you shoot the enemy, it actually turns into sub-munitions, which kind of ricochet out and weaken enemies around it. And that whole process, I guess, as well, like helps reload and some other things. And it's strong against overloads. So, you know, it's a unique little shoddy, kind of interesting. I hadn't get to use it too much. But it also does like precision type damage as well as part of it. And then
Is it like
did
a
I
slug?
oh, that's a good question. Is what type of shot? I mean, it's an exotic.
it's
So
a
did
slug.
it,
Is it a slug
think it
shot?
is.
It's not a buckshot? Okay.
okay.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I saw
You put
people
in-
aiming at heads, so.
Yeah, I mean,
When
it
you
feels
shoot
like
the
it
wall,
would be
Fran,
more
are
of a
there many hole or one hole?
Yeah, I do. You know, I don't do the check for that, but it does encourage you to, you know, actually do precision shots on it. So,
Okay.
but now you got me wondering: is it labeled?
It's a slug.
No, yeah, it's probably slug side, but it's called a night sworn sight, is the type of thing. That's the only information on it.
Okay.
But yeah, dealing final blows, 2 targets grants you this sight. During that time, final blows grant true sight, reload speed, and precision damage is increased. And those sub-munitions kind of scatter and weaken targets. So anyway, the third reason is like, of course, if you want the story, just go in and get that. I think I gave you those 3 reasons. And that's mostly it. But of course, because they smashed everything together, when you finish it, it's like, okay, now go back and talk to Ido and check in on Mithrax. He's sick. And there's reasons we're doing all this stuff. And you check back in. She's like, great, go back in there and do it again. Because normally that would have been a week later. So now you have this decision to make when you're like, oh,
right.
what's the next step? And it's like, oh, go back
again.
and do it again. You know, and if you remember, they did this before where you'd run back through. There's some new like dialogue, new story elements. And so I only touched the beginning. I was like, I'm going to do this later. I'm not going to keep playing 30 or, you know, how many minutes of this over and over again.
So is this like Revision 0 and all those where you have to keep going back in to unlock new stuff for the gun itself? Like it.
Right. So you can
I
craft
kinda hate
it.
that.
And what's funny too, because again, they just drop and smash everything together now, is when you get done, it's like cha-chunk, 1 catalyst, cha-chunk, number 2 catalyst. You get all 4 or 5 of them like at once, and you're like, okay, I guess like I can just start grinding all this catalyst steps now, you know. So yeah, you got to go through it. I don't know if it's 4 times or how many times.
Do
it
you
is
like
to get all this
that
done.
when they do that with some of these exotic missions?
When they drop everything at once, or
No, when you have to like you get
Go
the
back through.
exotic, but you don't really have the exotic. You've got diet exotic, and you have to keep
Right.
playing the mission until you actually get the full
good
version of the
stuff.
exotic. Yeah.
Yeah, because I took a quick look at it. It's got like what was it? Like Cascade, stats for all. There's a couple things that you can get on it that are actually kind of neat. But you're right. Oh, repulsor brace, and you're right. It doesn't have any of that out the gate, I don't think. Yeah, like I'm looking at mine right now. Yeah, I just have, it comes with its unique trait, which is that heart piercer. That's where it shatters into these submunitions and does overload it. But outside of that, it's like, well, you want repulsor brace or something like that to go with it. And so no, yeah, I don't mind it. It's just become so much of like, I think what Destiny is, you expect it to be that. You're like, well, it's fine. It's like the mission's all right. There's some cool little secrets in it. It has something to do with like playing an organ.
I saw that organ. That looked kind of neat.
Yeah, it was kind of neat. Yeah, I did 1 step of that. I thought I was going to actually have to do more. So I was kind of interested in it, and you can go back in. So there's a reason to do it. But like in general, you know, my response is like, I just think the community's deal with Destiny now is like, you kind of expect it to be that. It's not that it's not a good looking mission. The gun feels good. It's just like we're at that point. It's been that way for so many years that it's uninteresting. And I think because of that, you're not really super enticed to be like, man, I can't wait to get this overload shotgun and craft it, right? And it's more about, are you really vibing with a team maybe that you're playing with, and you really want to enjoy this mission and unlock its secrets? Other than that, I mean, I can't imagine there's people who are just like frothing at the mouth to get the new exotic shotgun, you know? But yeah, it's as expected. That's the short of it. And I think I was kind of, I actually checked in with some Destiny content creators. We have a different thread, and I was shocked that, I don't know how I've become this person, but yeah, literally, I was like, anybody checked it out? They're like, oh man, no, not at all. And these are like goated content creators in the Destiny world, like you know, yourselves. And
especially with Marvel Rivals, I think for a lot of the Destiny community, it's like such an easy hop over. So yeah.
So maybe
and it's doing well.
Yeah, so maybe to cap that off, is like, I don't think I should give you a lore update. There's still more to see because it's a couple weeks of it. But the update was, if you remember, Aramis was like in prison, and we let her out, and Mithrax is sick because of all this. Like, yeah, we locked her up. Remember, that was like her first thing. We locked her up in the Lost City. Anyway, we let her out, and she's helping us because she's one of the old ones that understands some song of the Rees something. And Mithrax is sick, so he needs to get a new tonic. That's what I'm hearing. So you got to get back in there. She knows like an apothecary of old. We're gonna go meet up with them and make some tonics.
Apothecary Diaries season 2 is out tomorrow.
That's right.
There you go. But anyway, it's something like that. So Fikril is still like immune, and you can't seem to be fighting him yet.
Isn't she like back in prison though? What's going on? I saw her in prison.
I think she's still there, but she's not supposed to be.
We're like, you know, we unlocked the door, right?
Yeah,
she's like, oh, the meals are free. I have a bed. Like,
it's warm down there. Maybe she just hangs out there now. But
she's like, real estate's expensive.
Yeah, so I didn't listen to the conclusion is the point. And I think, to be fair too, anybody who does want to play it, it's only a few days. It's not even the weekend hasn't even hit to give people a chance to play it who want to. So go check it out.
There was something that was pretty exciting in the TWAB. As someone who likes fashion.
Oh, yes. This was exciting. Worth mentioning.
Festival of the Lost Armor voting. Myelin, can you show people, or does that mess things up?
It's not going to show people on my stream, unfortunately, because I'm not using...
Okay. Well, check out the TWAB. I'll give you a link live in Twitch chat. If you are watching this later, check out the TWAB. But it's voting for the set that we're going to get. And it's slashers versus specters. So slashers is like, I mean, you've got like the
Jason
Scream
Voorhees,
mask. Yeah,
Ghostface and Scarecrow.
Yeah. And then the specters are
sick.
like the Titans, like this mad Joker kind of vibe. The hunter, god damn, is like a spectral bride. And then the warlock, it's like a tentacle.
Yeah, I didn't know what the tentacle person was from.
It looks
know.
familiar.
I think
I
they're
don't
all
know.
references to horror movies because
It looks familiar.
like the top is the Scream dude, right? Jason and
Babadook?
Scarecrow. That's what somebody in chat said. What is that from though?
Baba Ganoush.
Ooh, Bob Ganoush is tasty, dude.
It does remind me of Slender Man with tentacles. Yeah, I don't know if. But Matt, dude, I'm going specters all the way. That hunter armor is insane,
Which one?
and I think I prefer all of them.
Yeah.
I think I prefer all of them.
I like
They're all
slashers
good.
more because it's so many super iconic.
The iconic
characters.
stuff is cool,
Like-
but it doesn't look
Yeah.
as good. Let's be
Like
honest.
Titans would be Jason, right?
Yeah, Jason.
It looks so
think.
similar to the God of War armor. The Titan one. The same vibe.
I guess so, but it's Jason with a hockey mask. It's
Specters
I
dope.
just like the hockey
Specters looks so much better. Come on. Now.
I think the Spectres
you're
armor
right.
could
Spectres
mix
do
and
look
match
Nah,
with
they're
other
too.
stuff better.
No, man.
But
they're
I like
too-
the full
yeah.
sets of the monsters
Yeah.
better, I think. But I think
Vote
that if you were trying to
slashers,
mix
folks.
in stuff, I think the Spectres looks better for having individual
Yeah.
pieces.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
I'm
I'd
voting,
vote
I think I'm
slashers.
voting for the monsters with Jason. And
Yes.
I really like that Halloween one too. That's
This
really
is
good.
why you can't trust these guys.
I think
okay?
that's Scarecrow,
This is why you
Briar. I think
can't
it's
trust
supposed to be like
Just a
Scarecrow.
scarecrow.
Yeah.
Can't trust them.
I mean, it is a Scarecrow, but I think it's really inspired by Dark Knight Scarecrow.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
That being said, well, I do agree with you. Fashionably, the Spectre stuff is really dope looking. It's all
Yeah.
black and white and a little bit
Yeah,
of
that
touch of
Babadook
red.
is pretty good.
Mm.
What's the
Anyway,
one?
make sure to
is
go
that
vote.
Slender Man with the tentacles on his back.
Looks like Slender Man with tentacles. Yeah,
Okay, that was pretty good.
it does. Yeah, the
Um,
Titan looks like the Jigsaw from the Saw movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's almost certainly what it's from. I don't know what the Hunter Spectre's from. Did you say, Watts, or you don't know what it's from? It's like
well, it's very obviously like a ghost
It's a
bride,
bride
kind
of-
of like
yeah.
I don't know what specifically they're referencing, but I dressed up as one of these for Halloween.
it's pretty dope. Honestly, it's super
I didn't look as
dope
cool
looking.
as that though.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was voting on, again, like the looks, especially as a hunter, I would vote Spectres. However, I just think it's so cool to have like an iconic horror team lineup with slashers. Jason,
I really
Scream
like 'em
Mask
both.
Guy, and Scarecrow. It's dope. Yeah, they really cooked with these
Yeah.
designs. So
Usually
one of the
I have a
best things
clear
they've done.
favorite, but this
They're
one is
they
good.
look really good.
Yeah.
Both of
These
them are
aren't
good.
like official collabs, are they? They're just.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, this
How
is
do
their,
you get a? Can they just use stuff like that?
yeah, it's just a
I wonder
hockey
if the
mask
Jason
with a
mask
slash
is
on it.
in like Creative Commons at this point. It's so old.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
just a hockey mask with a blood mark on it.
Well,
so they
wasn't
can get away
there
with it.
It's pretty iconic though.
there was a Friday the 13th game, but then they got sued,
Oh, really?
right?
You mean the
Right.
old one or
They
like
didn't
the
get
new
the
one?
they didn't get the correct like legal permissions to use Jason like that, and they made a whole game, and then they had to shut it down.
Was that the live one,
Listen.
like the multiplayer one? We played
It was a
that.
Yeah,
multiplayer one. It was
Oh my
actually
God,
really
we played that,
fun.
So fun. Yeah.
Yeah, we played a bunch of it.
Oh,
I mean,
also
if-
apparently Slender Man does have tentacles, so that is
Oh.
Slender Man.
Oh.
Okay.
I've never seen him up
Oh,
close,
it's
so
Slender Man.
Yeah,
we
me
haven't.
neither.
So these are all from something. It's just these are from slasher movies, and these are like spooky.
Spooky.
Oh, actually, I
Oh, and
forgot.
this is
they-
individual voting, by the way. So if you like the Spectre Hunter, you can vote for the Spectre Hunter. If you
Oh,
like.
Yeah.
okay.
That was literally. I was just saying though. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
sorry.
I forgot. No. You had the. You read my mind. I was like literally looking at it, voting, and I was like, wait, I can vote for whatever. I'm like, I don't want that Scream Hunter. I want the cool spectral one set.
Yeah, me too.
So
It
make
looked
sure to
good.
go vote. Maybe outside the fashion stuff. Maybe can I just mention the cap changes on a couple things real fast?
Yeah.
Strange coins, previously at 99, will come up to 199. This is with episode
Very nice.
3, Heresy, and then ciphers for Nightfall, and I think Trials, right? Osirian ciphers are gonna go from 10 to 30. That's, I mean, it's a big quality of
Okay.
life change.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is nice. That's very
Just
nice.
sitting on top of them. Another reason to sit on top of more. And that was probably the most of it, right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Cool.
How about that?
Guys,
yeah.
you can play Monster Hunter Wilds beta again.
When?
February 6th.
February 6th.
Soon.
That's
February
like
6th.
almost a month
Under a
away.
month.
he
it is.
thought about doing math there for a second. Then he was like,
It's
"Nah,
like,
I
it's
wouldn't
like the
ballpark it."
9th. It's the second point to get 200. Yeah, it's about a month.
If they put the
Um,
training grounds in it, then maybe
There's
I will.
not going to be.
Boo.
They are adding a new returning monster called Gypceros, which me and Myelin actually hunted together. A Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate
On
I
Switch.
love that.
on Switch. Yeah,
Oh, really?
we played it together. Yeah,
Yeah.
How was that experience playing that game?
it's really fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's-
I think the eye opener for me is like Monster Hunter had the formula pretty much right from the get go, and then everything else has just been like it's making it even better. Pretty like you can feel the essence, the soul of Monster Hunter games from the get go, and it's like, oh right, they hit a home run from day dot.
They really did.
No, I mean
yeah.
I don't know when GU came out, but you know what I mean. Like it's an older game, and it's like
Yeah.
they've just been improving the formula ever since, really.
Was that a Switch original game, or was that like a port from another thing?
It
like
was
the
a port
DS or
from
something?
another one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a 3DS. Believe it's so hard because like they release in Japan and then they release in the West and then maybe they
Yeah.
release in the West on this thing, but they're in Japan, they're on this thing. But I think it was the 3DS.
There's a lot more clarity in Monster Hunter releases now, which I think does them some benefit. I do
Definitely.
remember like the first Monster Hunter game I got was on the DS, and it was like just shopping for it was like, which one am I trying to buy? Like, which one is the newest one? And like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
it's
even
hard.
sure really I ended up with the newest one at the time, but the one I did end up was pretty fun, except for the fact that like every 10 feet you had to like wait for a loading screen because you know it was on the DS.
Loading screens. Yep.
Yeah.
But they are bringing the beta back. Honestly, they weren't planning on doing another beta, but a lot of people said that they missed it. So they wanted to do it again because this beta doesn't have the performance updates that they've worked on. It doesn't have the weapon balance updates. It doesn't have any of that stuff. They're just adding Gypceros, which I found out now because I didn't know, luckily, from the leaks that he was already in the files for beta 1. So they're just adding him to beta 2, and then there's another beta that's running from, is it the 16th or the 13th?
That sounds
It's around the 16th.
16 in there somewhere.
It's the weekend of that, and it says that they're going to be adding new content then, but it's a question mark.
Okay. And then the game
February
usually
13th.
releases February
The 28th.
The
28th.
Feb, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So February is going to be like a ton of Monster Hunter. That's great.
Yeah.
Are they
Yeah.
going to leave the? I guess that'll be the third beta. That's the one that's going to have the upgraded content, right?
No, they're not good. There's only beta 1 and beta 2. They're just running it for different weekends.
Oh, okay.
But
So
it's still beta 2, yeah.
I wonder if they'll leave a beta version up on the store so people can just like check out some Monster Hunter. Did they do that with World?
Demo.
Yeah,
They'd
demo.
have it with Rise. The problem with this one that is so different is that during the first beta, they got a bunch of feedback on like performance and hit stop and the weapon balancing and all of that. That they haven't really done that post like a demo or a beta, whatever, and then changed it before release. So when all of the press went to Osaka to play in the Scarlet Forest, they were playing on a dev build, and some of those changes still were not in the game. So for them to put out like a demo and finish the game and get all of that done before the game comes out, I just don't think there's enough time. But I think it's very possible that they could do a demo like post the game coming out. That's like, hey, here's like the first hour of the game or something for you to try. Maybe just kicks them out. You know, the timer ones where you get to, it's like, here, you get to play the story for however long. It's 1 hour, whatever you can do. And then we kick you out.
You're like about to get your loot from some monster. It's like, boom, get out.
Oh, character creator is coming back. So you can make your character, or you can bring your character from the first beta to the second one. And you can like change them, which is what I'm probably going to do. Refine them.
What are you gonna do, Watts? Because you played a lot of the first one. Apart from hunting new mon, are you gonna experiment with some more weapons, or are you just gonna stick with the bow, or don't know?
I don't know. I'm definitely gonna spend a lot of time trying to make my character look exactly the way I want, because now it's like I've hunted all of these other monsters. I just haven't hunted this one. So I'm going to spend a lot of time making her look perfect. So on day 1, we can just load up and go play the game, and I don't need to worry about it. But I think, yeah, I just want to play more Wilds because I'll be honest, I don't want to play anything else.
All right.
I really don't want
Shocking.
PoE kept my interest. I mean, I still like PoE, and I probably will play it before like all this stuff comes out in February. But it kept my interest really solidly for like 130 hours, which is very helpful.
That's good.
Does Path of Exile 2 have a final 1.0 release date kind of thing, or
No.
No, just this year, I think, is the plan.
Yeah.
I think in their big dev live stream, they were just kind of like, not at the very end of the year. I think they're like, we are hopefully like not like right in December kind of deal.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I
by
thought
the
the
way-
campaign grind was a lot of fun, but
It was great.
I fizzled out on the end game. Was pretty repetitive and dull for me personally. I ended up getting all the way through my tier 15s, and found like a citadel and did all that stuff. But I don't know. I kind of fizzled out with it. But I did like enjoy going back and regrinding the campaign again on multiple characters. So I've got 3 characters now.
Oh wow.
Nice.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's one of those games. Like I'm still enjoying it. At the end game, I definitely see issues with the end game, but it's kind of it is all the jokes about the game where it's like the fun is the like sitting and building and like spending time on the trade side and getting everything ready and then like testing it. And it's like the actual left clicking is not necessarily the fun part. It's all like the build crafting and everything behind it, which I kind of like. It's like whatever.
I really liked it as a stream game because you're just doing maps and you're just like chatting about whatever. So that's actually been really fun.
Yeah.
Been very chill.
Yeah.
By the way,
I think
in
a
the
hardcore playthrough will be fun though. I don't know if anyone's thought about that. Because I think that's probably next thing on my list to make it a bit more interesting is to start a hardcore character and self-found as well. Because I think the trade website's great when you first start, but you lose a lot of value from just fighting loot in general. Just don't care about
Is hardcore
99.9%.
Yep.
Permadeath, yep. And then SSF is like solo self-found, so it means you can't buy your items from other players. So it makes everything you find a lot more valuable but it's also quite a high level of knowledge of the game because you kind of need to know exactly what you want to build or what you could use and how you can combine it, which I didn't really have until 130 hours later. And probably still don't really have, to be honest.
I mean, learning how to mix and match, buffs and compounding things in that game, there is a steep learning curve. And
yeah, definitely.
It definitely took me some time to get to that point where I was like, okay, all right, I understand what I'm trying to get going on here now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because earlier I was just like, I think what I need to do is just full send on getting all the chaos stuff for my chaos build. And then PoE people were like, no, that's not how that works, man. You just have more chaos. You don't have more powerful chaos. You just have more chaos.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started asking lots of questions and getting lots of answers. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. Yeah.
I definitely enjoy it.
I mean, they've already really spoken about the end game. That was like probably the least developed aspect of it. So it's heading in the right direction. But it's still got there's going to be a lot of changes before the full release as well.
Yeah, and I would expect that too.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the campaign. The campaign's fun. The bosses are fun.
Well, but other than leaving us hanging,
are great.
Yeah, I think obviously once we get the new story content too, actually see where the narrative's going. Because you're following the growth of a certain entity the whole time, and then you never get the payoff of it in the early access.
Yeah. Yep.
Fran, I know you've been playing Prince of Persia, but before you get into that, can you just tell me what your kind of final thoughts were on Indiana Jones and the Red Circle of Doom?
Oh, totally. And actually, just before I talk about Indy, I wanted to mention Assassin's Creed Shadows got delayed, maybe in the midst of that February conversation.
It happened today. Yeah. So I had fully planned to play it before Wilds came out because I was like, hey, it's in Japan. You're a ninja. You're a samurai. Sounds great. But now it's coming out March 20th.
Oh.
So I will not be playing it.
Yeah. To me. Oh, really? Wait, why is that? Oh, because Monster Hunter will just be that's it.
The earliest
It's
that
over.
I'd be looking to play something is like the very end of March. But even then, it would be like Monster Hunter and then playing that game. But I mean, Monster Hunter, it damn near comes out March 1st, right?
Which
It's
is
the 28th.
Yeah, which is funny because I was gonna say it's kind of like a non-delay. It's like still quarter 1. It has a history of getting delayed, so I think the reaction is like, not again. Is this ever coming out? But like to me, it says to delay it, vocally only 30 days. It's clearer to get away from Monster Hunter. I don't know what else they're trying to get away from. Is there anything big? Otherwise,
February is huge.
what else is really big outside of Monster Hunter? Wilds, like
I'm
big.
gonna flashbang myself. So
Okay, so let me know. But I was gonna, in the midst of this, you might hear about Switch
Elden Ring
and
Night
Switch 2
Rain
and
is
that's like
happening.
closed beta
it's
stuff.
the
and-
network test, yeah.
Yeah.
Avowed
I don't think they're worried about
is
that.
happening.
Oh,
then.
that's
Kingdom,
right.
Kingdom Come Deliverance is
don't
coming
think-
out then, which was huge for
Yeah.
a lot of people. But yeah, it was February 14th. So
yeah.
it
I
was.
think they were only worried mostly about.
It was
Monster,
that
but-
was like a 14th to the 28th. I'm like,
Yeah.
sweet,
Yeah.
cool.
So you're the
Gonna play
opposite.
that.
But anyway, I do think that it is coming out. I don't think they would do a Q1 delay for 30 days. And they said they wanted to react more to feedback from players. And I'm like, that to me was a euphemism of like, yeah, we want to avoid that release date between Avowed, Monster Hunter especially, and just 30 days is like not a big deal. I'm kind of glad personally, but we'll see.
I think for a lot of people, yeah, it's like Monster Hunter is just one of those games where you're not going to be done with it in 2 weeks. Like there's no way that you are like completed with the story and hunting everything, and there's just no way.
We'll see.
If you don't play all the game, yeah, sure, you can
Right.
finish the game if you don't play all of the game.
But
I
just
am looking forward to Assassin's
FYI.
Creed. I had kind of forgotten
Me
that
too.
it was coming out this soon. I remember it getting delayed, and now I'm excited about it again because everything about that game looked pretty exciting. And I'm a big fan of like the current trajectory of Assassin's Creed games. I like their kind of adventure tourism, like style of gameplay. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's a huge franchise, so.
It is.
But anyway, real fast, Indiana Jones. I don't know where we left. Where did we last leave off, Briar? I hadn't beaten it.
What do
I
you
think
think about
you were a little bit disappointed when you were exploring the Vatican, which I couldn't really
Vatican.
understand. But then you had gotten to a new area, and you were really excited with what you had found.
Okay, well, it's good
That
you
was
said
the
because
last thing.
as I came to find out, and I tell everybody, Indiana Jones is awesome. I think it's got a super strong opening. Me personally, it started to feel a little more old school. Some side missions, stealth missions, explore this first open area of the Vatican, and I won't spoil anything. But then I pushed on, and then I realized, oh man, if you just do the main story alone, it's so awesome, and it's very gratifying for Indiana Jones fans, especially. So if you did grow up on Indiana Jones, but even for those who didn't, I said, hey, if you like Tomb Raider and you like Uncharted, you might be surprised that you'll really enjoy this story, even if you don't connect as much with Harrison Ford and like beating up, very iconic looking Nazis and beating the crap out of them. Their writing and everything is so spot on, and I think that's why people love this game. It has just some like straight out of the movie feels that they really nailed with the cutscenes. Cutscenes are really beautifully done. And then for PC fans, they actually added some path tracing and ray tracing the week after, and so it's a really beautiful game. Should look real nice on that 5000 series if you want to wait. But yeah, cannot recommend more. It's a really good game. Absolutely a Game of the Year contender for 2024 if you haven't played everything there yet. So highly recommend. But I would mainline it, and remember you can always kind of go back and forth and do stuff you missed, but it is very enjoyable to stick with.
Awesome.
We also have this week season 1 officially of Marvel Rivals launching tomorrow with the inclusion of the Fantastic Four. I think we get 2 characters up front, 2 characters later. So we get Reed Richards, new duelist, and the Invisible Woman, right?
What was this Blade stuff I saw? Or did you see that as well? There was some kind of like Blade leak or something.
Sorry, my wife's getting animated, and I think it's coming through my mic. Well, I don't know, but I know that this season is vampire themed. I think the big bad is supposed to be Dracula himself.
Oh, cool.
Which is why you may have seen the resurgence of those Moon Knight memes. Dracula, where I know you're here, you stupid. Where's my money? You've seen those? Oh, it's such a good one.
I haven't.
Look it up.
I think I'm seeing. I was wondering if Blade was definitely part of this. It sounds like I'm reading about it now. It looks like it might be suggesting it's in season 2 or something.
Could be
for Blade.
Could be. There's no Sue Storm. That's right. Sorry, I was spacing on her name. And then we'll get we'll get the Human Torch and thing, right? I'm not a Fantastic Four. I never read any Fantastic Four comics growing up. So
No, I always thought
anyways,
Thing looked cool though.
yeah, it does
Mr.
look
Fantastic. Nice.
cool. So looking forward to that.
This is Marvel Rivals. There's a fair few of characters, huh? How many is that?
Oh, they've got a really solid opening cast for season 0 for sure.
How much have you been playing on Marvel Rivals?
Well, I've got about 40 hours in on console and about 15 hours in on PC. So
okay.
Is there a cross
tomorrow
progression?
actually there is no cross save. They have noted that that's something they want to implement, but it's funny because when I'm in the mood to play Thor, I love playing Thor. He's a tank and he's a bit of a bruiser. I greatly prefer, pardon me, playing him on PC. Because when you're doing melee combat with like Spider-Mans and stuff and they're flipping all around you, when you're slow turning on console, it's a nightmare. So I'm always on M&K on PC if I'm in the mood to play Thor. But then if I want to play, like I really like playing Winter Soldier. He's a bit of a tank buster. But for some reason I just prefer to play that on console.
That's fair.
Yeah, I
Playing
played
with a
little bit
bunch
Marvel
of
Rivals, but it didn't.
A bunch of the D2 guys have been playing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off there. Go ahead.
No, it's all right. It's interesting because like Watts and I played a little bit, and it didn't really. I don't know. I didn't really stick. It's kind of like it's a hero shooter with a Marvel skin. But I've been surprised with how much people like it and how much fun they're having with it. So I might have to. I'm coming around to give it a second shot.
Give it another try. You're not like a scorned PvP player like me, where I'm like PvP, blech, get away from me.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. Like,
and
I
that's
normally
the
like
thing.
PvP. You know,
I'm the other way around. I've been off the PvP train for a while. I just haven't cared at all until I played Rivals. I was like, okay, I kind of like this. This is kind of fun.
Did you
are
play
you
much
playing
of-
solo in a team?
I have played only solo so far, but tomorrow I'm playing with like Fallout and Cool Guy and Ramblin', and
Nice.
we're just gonna do a day long comp push and have some fun with it. And I really like that, actually, even as a solo player, I really like that team aspect to it, where you go in and you can like soft select a character. So everyone loads in, you soft select the character, and you kind of see where everyone's falling, and you're like, okay, well, we only have one tank. I'll swap to tank, right? Yeah,
so that's how they give you kind of an opportunity to queue for a role.
Yeah.
Because there is no role queue, right? It's just that's how it's done.
But yeah, team composition is a big part of it, and the way it really, I think the way it honors roles in the like end game screen is really nice too. So okay, like instead of like it just says, yeah, your healer got 2 kills. It's like, yeah, they got 2 kills. They did 20,000 damage of healing to the team. They provided this many assists. They blocked this much damage. So it's got like a full breakdown. So you can really, no matter what role you're playing, you can really feel that validation.
That's good. I like that.
What's the biggest appeal to you, TV? What's drawing you back each time? What do you think about when you get off and you're like, I want to get back on?
Yeah, so what keeps me coming back, honestly, is learning the rotations of everyone's kits. Because, like, sorry, I got my dog in here. She's recovering from surgery. I'm trying to give her some space to lay down.
Puppers.
Anyways, yeah, she's good. She's a good girl. She might get up on
she's got a little
hop
neck.
up there.
She got the little
Yeah, because she's got an
life
incision.
preserver.
She got a little incision on her tummy, so she's got to keep off of it. But
Adorbs.
But anyways, yeah, so one of the things I do, like in my morning routine now when I'm getting myself ready for the day, I pull up like there's a number of different creators that are like in the top 100 players. And so I'll just go down the list. I'm like, hey, I haven't played any Captain America. What is the literal best, highest ranked Captain America doing right now in the game? And I'll watch some of the gameplay. I'm like, oh my gosh. So if you do that and then you can follow it up with this, that's great. And then it clicks. And then you get to go and try it out for yourself and see if you can implement those strategies too. And I really enjoy doing that. Like today I did like 2 Thor videos because he's like my main, and then I spent the morning. I was supposed to do a Bucky video today, and then I spent my morning watching the top ranked Thor, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought about that. You know what I mean? So then I just ended up spending all day playing more Thor. But that's what keeps me coming back.
So there's enough like complexity to the character kits that like you can play in different ways and different styles, and
yeah, you can play super casual with the quick play stuff, but if you really want to refine your play style, and there's more to it than just than just, oh, these are the rotations. Like different maps favor different kits and different combos. And then the higher you get up in the ranks, you're starting to think about, okay, what's my job? Am I diving backline? Am I protecting healers and supports? Or it's very specific matchups where you're like, okay, well, my job is definitely to take down the Wolverine because he's going to be a really big problem for our tank. You know what I mean? So all of that nuance comes into play, and I just really enjoy it.
Easy to learn, hard to master kind of stuff, which is
Yeah.
usually good PvPness. What do you reckon? Are we still in the honeymoon period where the game's fun because there's no meta, or do you reckon there's enough flexibility that will go a bit? 'Cause I feel like a lot of PvP games get to that point where it's like, no, you didn't pick Spider-Man. I can't believe it.
They've done
We
a
need
really
a
good
Spider.
job of making some tuning notes and stuff. But honestly, I was really surprised out of the gate how well balanced the game is. Like, there's a couple of characters that it's like you pick them in high rank comp you're throwing, but for the most part, almost everything is viable.
It's viable.
Yeah. And they did a really cool feature called team ups. Team ups in hero comic books and stuff is an iconic thing, right?
Oh yeah.
And so they have team ups in the game too, where if there happens to be a Rocket Raccoon and Winter Soldier on the same team, well, Rocket Raccoon, they have a unique interaction together where they can team up, and Rocket Raccoon can give Bucky's gun infinite ammo for like, I don't know, 10 seconds or something. And his gun does insane deeps, and the trade-off is that it only has a 3-round mag. So you put that down, and he can take down 2 tanks in a few seconds. You know what I mean? So those team ups are kind of fun to play with too. And then you got to keep an eye out for those if you going against an enemy team and you see that they have 2 characters that synergize. Then that changes your strategy. Up, okay, let's focus the Rocket and make sure that he can't empower Bucky. You know what I mean? All that stuff's really fun to me.
Nice.
Did you ever
I'm
play
glad
much
people are enjoying
Overwatch?
it.
I did play a lot of Overwatch initially, but it didn't stick just because I was too busy making Destiny content back then.
The first time I played Overwatch, my brother got into a fight with someone else about what is the best strategy on day one, and I literally quit that day. I was like, I'm not on that. He's like, no, you should be doing this and doing that, and then I'm blah, 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 blah. I'm like, nah, I'm out. I don't want to be dealing with like this kind of arguments on day one. I remember it like yesterday. It was on console too, I think.
Well, and I think that the playful nature of you're always going to get talked to people who take the game mega seriously, but I think that the playful nature of Marvel, kind of helps offset that a little bit too. It's not quite so serious, and the banter between characters keeps it light. I enjoy that.
That might protect it for a bit longer, and I think maybe that Marvel appealed to a wider audience. I mean, as soon as you get a bigger player pool and you can have more like people playing casually, and depending on how they do matchmaking, you've kind of got a formula there. If everything feels pretty balanced and viable, and you got a big player pool, they're like the winning factors for a good PvP game.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, now I'm convinced to give it a shot. Great.
Give it a shot. I want to watch you play it. Ideally, if you get angry, that would be even better.
Chad just wants to watch me yell.
I do.
What's the matchmaker like, TV? What's the matchmaker like? Because we went through this with Black Ops. It was interesting stepping back and watching conversation about matchmaking come up with like Black Ops 6, but I haven't really seen a lot of discourse around Marvel Rivals. That being said, I'm not really in that area. Like, what's the general feeling on matchmaking?
There's a pretty fair balance of everything. There's games where I had a game today where I went 31-1, and then I had a game today where I went 0-6, and that was the one I didn't want to go 0-6 in because when I loaded in, one of the guys on my team was like, "TrueVanguard, I'm a fan. I've been watching your Rivals content." I'm like, "Oh, cool, very cool." And then I go 0-6. It was just a terribly stacked team that we went up against. We all got hammered. It wasn't just me. But anyways, but most games are somewhere in between. So it's a mixed bag. Sometimes you're the ant.
I mean that's kind of what you want, really. Like, the main complaint is when you don't have mixed variety games and you're just wetting 24/7.
Variety is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at least if you're getting stomped, it's over quickly. Like with quick play matches, as opposed to comp matches. Comp matches, if you're doing a payload, for example, you get a payload map, and so your team's on offense, you have to escort the payload. You get it as far as you get it, whether you get it to the end or just before, then it ends. Pardon me. And then you switch sides, and they have to do it all over again, and you're on defense. In quick play, it's just, no, we're not doing that. It's just one, right? You either get the payload there or the other team stops you, and whoever wins, wins. So they're really short games. So even if it's a terrible mismatch, at least it's only going to last 5-6 minutes.
Oh,
That's good.
You been playing anything, Briar?
No, I've been
Too busy
Woodworking.
building.
He's been across the street at Steve's every day.
yeah, I've been hanging out with Botanical Steven and covered myself in man glitter. I do want to play. I really do want to get to the Golden Circle, Indiana Jones. Is it Golden
Great
Circle?
Circle, yeah.
Right?
We've renamed it so many times, Briar. Man, it's like
Close. The
doesn't
right
matter.
letters were involved.
I feel like Golden Circle is
sure.
probably a DS game. So I was thinking of Golden Sun. I think.
Golden Sun. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh, you'll love it. Definitely check it
can't
out.
wait, yeah.
And yeah.
What are you thinking of Prince of Persia so far?
Yeah, I don't want to go off on too much, but I absolutely gushing about it. Absolutely a game of the year contender as well. It is. I've described it. Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown, the Great Golden Circle. It's completely a love letter to Metroidvania games, and it is a shame that it seemingly, according to reports, just really didn't sell that well. I think you chalk some of that up to I don't really feel like it had much of a marketing thing. It didn't release on Steam and did the Ubisoft thing.
Steam?
Not originally, I don't think.
Okay.
It was in Ubisoft Connect, right? I think all of that. But maybe wrong place, wrong time against other titles too. But anyway, it is really fun. It is, to me at least, and I was curious. I thought you played a lot, so I want to hear what you thought. But just it is this great mix of it's Metroidvania and it's so expansive, but it's tons of platforming, which Prince of Persia, start on. But it's also tons of action combat stuff, and all of this mixed together in just this really outstanding, beautiful world. That team is really, really good. So you should go buy it, go play it. I'm actually hoping, though I don't think they'll do this, but I was hoping for Switch 2. It has a Renaissance relaunch of this is a must-have title for Switch 2 when it launches, maybe with all the improvements that Switch 2 could give it. I just hope, because it is that good, and it's a shame that I believe according to reports the team kind of just finished the DLC, but then they got moved on to maybe some more Rayman and some other stuff. But
I think they broke up the team, didn't they? Or
I think so.
Am I thinking of
they
somebody
might,
else?
but I recall it was both Ubisoft, I think Montpellier and Paris, and that's the core of what Ubisoft is. So even though they are always working on a bunch of stuff, but I think Rayman is still in there, and that's not all bad news. So
It's been a while since we got a new Rayman game, hasn't it?
Been a very long time.
Has it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Raving Rabbids is probably the newest version of that. It's not really
That's true.
Rayman, but
Yeah, that Prince of Persia game was fantastic. The action just the animation and the action just feels so kinetic and so fluid.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, the platforming, it accentuates the platforming. I feel more than the combat, at least in the parts that I played. I didn't.
It's a lot.
The game, sadly.
oh, okay.
But yeah, it's just
It's
the
a
game
lot of
feels-
platforming.
Yeah, it feels so good, and it doesn't do that thing where so many Metroidvanias is they just keep adding mechanics and adding mechanics and adding mechanics until every button on the controller has to do 3 different functions depending on the context, where your character is, and you start to get almost twisted up. I remember playing Guacamelee and playing there was another one that was really bad for this, where it was just the difficulty curve was no longer the bosses or the enemies. It was which button does what under which context. And I'm just I got so frustrated with it. But yeah,
this one's
I really
pretty
like that
good
game.
about that. Yeah, I will say it is unforgivingly OG. The only thing I had to complain about was that I want to play so many games now, and I was immediately I was man, I want to be able to fast travel more. It's you have to backtrack a lot. You're missing powers in the beginning, and actually there's a ton of friction there that for me, I was like, it was a strong opening, and then I was like, man, I love Metroidvania. It's one of my favorite genres, right? I always gush about it, but then I was getting like kind of like impatient. But then what I realized many hours later, and it got its hooks in me, I'm like, oh, once you have these powers, you're like, it's so much more comfortable, and that's the payoff. There was so much friction up front. So I don't know if you haven't got some of these powers, but that's a real game changer where you're like, oh, this is so, I'll go anywhere now. Like, and I actually ended up clearing almost all, I'm almost like 100%ing at this point. That was not the plan. So that's how good it is.
Yeah,
Classic.
It's fantastic. I'm with you. I hope that it gets like a re-release on the Switch, the Super Switch.
Yeah, the Super Switch, exactly.
It would be a good handheld game too. It would be fun to play handheld.
Oh, definitely. Play it on the Steam Deck.
For sure.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Wait, is it on Steam?
I think it's on Steam Deck. Yeah.
I think so.
It
'Cause
is
it-
on Steam, and
You
I
never
think
know with
it's
Ubisoft.
supporting.
You
I
know.
know.
You
Well,
never know. Where are they at? Who knows?
I also
It
ended
wasn't
up with,
originally, I
like, two
guess.
Ubisoft accounts, like, and both have
I
like
did
different
that
games
too.
on them.
Me too.
You know what it was? I know, because I signed up for Ubisoft using my like actual name, and then I wanted to stream Ubisoft games, but it would just like
Sure.
blast my real name on the screen. I'm like,
Here's
well,
your
this
name,
sucks.
address. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had to sign up for another account like under Briar Rabbit, and then buy games through that.
That you already had.
Yeah, and then I
man.
actually called them. This happened with Meta as well, as I called them, and they would not transfer the games to the new account. They're just like, sorry, sucker.
Man, that really sucks. If you can prove that like you've purchased it, it would be
Yeah.
nice if they could.
Yeah, I mean, it is worth noting. I generally I think you're better off buying games ultimately still these days. But with Game Pass and everything, I don't know. I don't think Shadows is coming to Game Pass. But if you wanted to play Assassin's, Creed Shadows and Prince of Persia, March would be a good time for just $18. Dive in and play both of those. I think it's $18 to do that. Play some For Honor, get that Shack skin. I think that's out there.
That's a great game.
That is. God, I haven't played that game since it was basically new too. So I bet there's all sorts of new stuff in that game.
It's like on season 100. It's so crazy that's Ubisoft's most successful live service game. It's like
it is more so than Rainbow Six.
But I mean, no, definitely not. But I mean, like, it's so. I mean, good call. I forgot. But I was mostly joking that like it's been tiny, but it's gotten these like consistent seasonal updates. It's crazy.
Good. Anybody else got anything, or should we do some Twitter questions?
Twitter question sounds good.
Let's see, next week. Well, tomorrow I'm going to be playing Freedom Wars Remastered, which is going to be fun. And then next week I'm going to be playing Dynasty Warriors, the new Dynasty Warriors.
Oh, demo of that.
Yeah, what'd you think of the demo?
Yeah, it reminded me of all those
Being a
nights.
kid.
Yeah, being a kid and playing it until like 2 a.m. and just smashing troops. It's
Yep.
pretty good.
Yeah,
Waiting.
gonna
for
be-
Like, I don't know.
We're gonna check it out. We're gonna check out some
Yeah.
Dynasty Warriors.
I think the main thing that you could do differently. I mean, it's been probably over a decade
I
since
think
I
this
last
is the
played one.
10th one, so it's probably been a
Yeah,
while for you. Yeah.
It's been a while, but you have these like abilities where you could command troops, so you could get them to like shoot arrows and like charge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you have all your normal combos and charging up and all your heroes on top of it.
What
Yeah,
were
what
the
is
a
names
good
of
one?
those Zelda ones that they did, where they put the Zelda characters in the Dynasty Warriors?
Oh, yeah.
I
I
remember that.
don't remember, but I remember that.
Yeah. Dang.
I had some
remember
fun
it.
with
It
the
was-
first
it
one. I
was-
think they did two of
well,
those.
What's the area called? Because it was that Warriors, right? So it was
Hyrule
like rather than-
Warriors.
Hyrule.
Yeah. yeah.
Hyrule Warriors.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Hyrule.
yeah.
I get it.
2014.
played that.
It's 10 years ago.
Oh my
It's when
god.
Destiny came out.
Whoa.
Gotta
What
pull
in
out
the
your
hell
Wii U.
happened?
Yeah, it was like we were
Think
all
you
in
can
a
get it on
coma when
Switch.
Destiny came out. It's like
I
look
know.
at this.
That's
last 10
goodbye.
years.
Yep.
It did. You're right. It actually
Why
came
did I
out pretty
never
much at
play
the
this
same
dual
time.
game? Oh, it was between 2014 and 2024. That's why.
That's fine.
If you're interested in the first Berserker Kazan, they're having an open beta next week on the 16th. You can check
I am
that out.
interested.
I think that's it for next week. There's some other stuff coming out at the end of January, but I think that's it for that.
Do you guys know what the business reason is that they do limited betas now instead of just putting a demo up that you can just play whenever?
Well, if they're using the terms correctly, beta is
Yeah.
to get feedback and implemented. If they're not using it correctly, well, let's just assume they are. I don't know. I don't know why you'd have a limited demo. Like if
Can you
it's
give
like
an example?
I agree
an
with Brian.
actual
Demos should
representation of
be
the
all
game.
way.
I mean, what's
the game Watts you just said, what is the name of that game?
First Berserker Kazan.
Yeah, they're gonna have what, 3-4 days of demo?
I don't know how long
Beta?
it is actually. Not sure.
Oh, it is going to be, limited demo. Are you asking though,
actually not
why
sure.
is it only 3 or 4 days if it is?
Like in general, like it just seems to be a
Yeah.
trend that happened. I don't know how many years ago. Seems many years at this point, but like for
Versus
Street Fighter
leaving it
6,
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just leaving up a demo that you can at any point. Like, oh, I heard about this game. I'll play like the first hour of
Yeah.
it.
I'm
if I
pretty
like it.
sure that, I mean, especially with like more indie title, they're just worried you're just going to try that and not buy it to try it. It's pretty much always been that with demos.
There
I
are
reckon-
several games that I bought because I liked the demo. Monster Hunter World,
Totally.
being one of them.
Yeah.
The what was that one on one of the first Xbox 360 games? Frozen Planet? No, that's not it. It was
Lost.
Lost. Yeah,
No, that
Lost,
Capcom game.
Yeah, Lost
Planet,
Planet.
isn't it? I think it's Lost Planet, isn't it?
I think it's
you're
Lost
right.
Planet. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that
Yeah,
had
it
a
is.
demo. It was the first demo I ever downloaded
really?
off the internet.
Huh. Yeah, no, I think
That's
when
not
you're
true.
not, I mean, you're right that sometimes it absolutely sells games, but I think there's just a general worry, and you see that on Steam, with just, it's up for a bit and then they take it down, so you have to buy it to try it.
Yeah, that was the first.
Because otherwise, right,
demo
you
I
would
ever
argue,
downloaded
you're
off
like,
Xbox 360.
yeah, if it works so well, you would argue, why doesn't every game have a demo? Because it's guaranteed to help. So,
Especially if
It's
you
like
already
them-
built one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you already have built one,
Mhm.
I can understand not doing it because it costs
Right.
money to build it. But if you already have built one,
yeah, well,
Yeah.
they've, like look at Prince of Persia. If there's a demo for it, even though how good it is, like maybe people go like, that was fun, but you know what, I don't feel like playing it right now. But if in the other situation they were like, I kind of want to try it, then they spend $20.
Yeah.
So
See, back in my day, to demo a game, you went to
Really?
the mall or
Yes.
Walmart and you stood in line. They had it in that case, and the controller sticking out.
yes,
And
the
you walked
accordion
away.
controller and like
That's
the
right.
bulletproof glass.
Yeah. I remember those days. It was like mom and dad are gonna go shop, and I'm going to the electronics section. I'm gonna play Super Mario 64.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I got
It's
them
funny
from
'cause-
magazines. At the back it's got a little attached.
Yes.
Attached
Cereal
demos on the back.
boxes.
Oh,
Cereal
right.
boxes?
Yeah, the disc with the demos.
I
Those
played
cereal
the
doesn't
crap
hit the
of the
same.
wrap-up demo off of a magazine. That was great. And I was like, wow, this
I'm
game's
pretty
great.
sure-
Kick punch, solid mind.
probably PSN. Yeah,
I got Age of Empires 2. I don't know if it was actually the full game or the demo from a cereal box.
really.
They used to go
Yeah.
so hard with cereal boxes back in the days.
Yeah.
I got my first PC microphone from a cereal box.
Wow.
Oh,
Oh, what?
Yeah. It's like a little thin microphone. It wasn't bad. It was like
It was great
not
cross
bad.
branding because it literally sounded like you were chewing Captain Crunch while you were using it.
That was the first ASMR stuff back then. Get your
Well, I
ASMR
remember,
microphone.
they used to have like Cocoa Puffs on the back of the box. It had like perforations where you would pop out like a 3D thing that would stick out the back,
Yeah.
and you could put a Cocoa Puff in the top and watch it roll down the
Oh,
whole
wow.
thing. Yeah,
Man, those were the good old days
I
Artsy
know.
crafts.
when companies cared about us.
Yeah.
Hey, kids, eat this sugar.
Eat this sugar, get a
Toy-
microphone. Great.
All right, I got a couple of Twitter questions. I'll go through real quick.
Okay.
Endgame Express says, my wife and I played through Astrobot over the Christmas break. Such a
Ooh.
great game. Plus, the Christmas level was a banger. Do you have any
Oh, I gotta play that.
recommendations of games to play as a couple? We played It
It
Takes Two
Oh.
and are looking forward to Split Fiction in March.
Oh,
The
well,
new
I was
one
gonna
from
say
Hazelight.
I was gonna say It Takes Two, and then I was gonna say, oh, okay, well, on March 6th, Split Fiction's coming out, so you can do that. About you know, there's it's not the same. I played through the Ori series like with Tomo on the couch, but we passed the controller like to one another. I thought that was really great. I think that was a really great one to play with someone passing the controller back and forth.
What was that giant?
Yeah, I mean that's what
they
would have done with
Astro
Astrobot. So
That's true.
TV, didn't you play a bunch of that? The
Play
giant
what?
bug game that came out a couple years on Xbox.
Oh, Grounded.
Oh, Grounded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exceptional. Yeah,
That'd be good for couch co-op.
I think that comes to mind. I don't know. Is there couch co-op, or would you have to have
I
two
don't know.
machines?
I think you'd have to have 2 machines.
Okay.
You know what my wife and I've been playing together recently, actually? This supermarket together. Yeah, you literally make your own supermarket and price items and put all your shelves, stock your goods.
Oh my god!
You have to run the checkout counter.
I saw people playing that on like Christmas Day and New Year's Eve to like simulate, having a store open during the holidays, and they're like, "Merry Christmas." Okay, asshole. That was great. That was really good. I like that.
Called Vanguard Value. The name of the store, I think.
We actually named it Nutsmart. The checkout area is called check out your nuts. We have like every section has a pun about nuts, and by the way, I am not the one that did it. I didn't name the store.
So you're the mature one in the relationship? Is that what we're hearing?
Unfortunately, sometimes.
I really enjoyed Ori was good for me.
My wife bought a game. This is not a video game, but it's somewhat related. She bought an LOB, and I wish I could remember the name of it. It comes with 4 kazoos, and it's basically a card game. It's a name that tune, but you got to play it on the kazoo. And everybody gets a kazoo. Doesn't that sound like fun? We haven't played it yet.
That does sound like fun.
Cannot confirm. But it's like you draw a card, it's got a song on it. You got to play it, and everybody in the room has to guess the name of the song you're playing on the kazoo.
It sounds fun if you had a few drinks before, few during, and then meaning wouldn't it get annoying to be like, I don't want to hear these kazoos anymore.
No.
Somebody's gonna get crazy with the kazoos, right?
That's what I mean. You're gonna be like,
can you discover that it's their call?
It's not your turn. That's what I'm saying.
This is my passion. Well, I'm looking
it's gonna be
forward.
Briar. He's gonna buy like a fancy kazoo. He's gonna show up on the podcast.
I'm looking forward because we've got a late Christmas with just our friend group. They're coming up here, and we're gonna do. I don't know if you've ever played Telestrations before. But it's like the thing where you get a prompt and you have to draw it, and then you pass it to the next person. They see your drawing and they have to write down what it is. They pass it, and then they have to draw what they see. You know what I mean? And then you see where it ends up. But we're gonna do that. But the prompts we're gonna swap out with cards from Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, nice. That's gonna be really good.
After Dark version of Telestrations is all just dirty words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's just
not
the
one to play with
Australian
the family.
edition. Yeah.
not to play with the family. Too many dick and balls.
That's right. You play it with the family you choose, not the family you were given.
True.
Twisted Joystick Podcast has been playing GTA remakes for Switch, and they look amazing. My question is, what game feature helps you navigate open maps like GTA's Road Line for directions? Oh, Ghost of Tsushima's Wind comes to mind.
The Wind.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Great.
I thought Division's sort of pin. Division literally puts on the ground and lets you walk. And what was the one where I think it is Division. Never mind. Yeah, you hit a radar ping and it draws the line. I think there's another game that does it too.
Yeah.
But Division for sure.
What? Monster Hunter Wilds is like the auto feature where you just get on your sacred and it just takes you where you need to go. Yeah.
And you just sit there and take your hands off the wheel, enjoy the ride.
Assassin's Creed games do that too, and I kind of like it because you can just kind of you get a moment to just put down the controller and enjoy the scenery.
Yeah, take in the space. Yeah.
V6 Sonoma from chat. I was thinking of Dead Space. Yeah, that's the other one. Play Dead Space 2023 as well, please, everybody.
Yep. EA said it's not worth making Dead Space 2 remake.
Oh God, it's so good.
Lone Wolf says, shouldn't Bungie already be announcing or at least teasing what the next big Destiny project is, considering the state the game's currently in? doubt new players are even picking up D2 at this stage, and the existing player base is dwindling. Shouldn't we at least know what's next?
Isn't that
They
Frontier?
did. Yeah. I think, yeah, like I'm hearing from
are
that
we talking
Watts that they
something
don't
else?
think that's big enough or something.
I mean,
They-
maybe that is like Frontiers is like the next big thing though, right? Because it's not just like an expansion. It's like this Frontiers is us going
Oh.
somewhere new and doing something different. And
Maybe
these are
they
the
mean-
expansions.
Maybe they mean show it.
Oh, maybe. Like you can
Yeah.
actually see it. Yeah.
Because remember
So-
we had that cutscene with wasn't it Saint 14 and the Cyrus
Yeah.
like flying off into the sunset, and then it like didn't go anywhere, right? Like that was what.
I don't remember that.
They didn't even make it
Well,
to
I
Mars.
remember talking about it because like, oh, we're gonna go to a new system. Like this is hinting. It was so out of place in like the current narrative.
Yeah.
Wait, that happened in the final shape?
I can't remember when it happens.
I dreamt it. I was gonna say no. On that, it's worth saying, right? Like that episode 3 Heresy comes out. They got to get that out of the way. So that's early February. I think with that in mind, we could look back at what they did for like Final Shape, but you probably won't see Frontiers until probably like April because of all of that. Is kind of let that get out of their system, and then they'll do a big lead up, assuming it doesn't get delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even May. You know.
True. They want to get you. And honestly, my prediction is that people are going to really like Heresy, and it's going to be at least enough to get people interested in what's coming next. Because I mean, you're rebuilding the Dreadnought. I mean, that's probably going to be pretty cool. So I think
Yeah.
it'll drive a good amount of interest.
Yeah, actually, now that I say it out loud, you know, I don't think you'll see it until like a fast and furious kind of lead up in May, assuming it comes out in June, because like there's also the sort of whatever the next Into the Light thing might be, update, whatever. They're still going to do another one of those, I think. Maybe Pantheon will come back, and so I think they want to get all that out of the way and then be like, all right, we know you've been doing this episodic stuff. Episodes are gone, and so boom, here's Frontiers, and it is coming out in 30 days or whatever it is. It's probably something like that.
I don't think new players are picking up the game though. Like from what Lone Wolf was saying, no,
I mean,
that's
good
a
luck if
big
you
problem
do.
they have to fix. Is getting new players interested in your franchise that's 10 years old is really hard anyway, because the player perception is, well, I'm so far behind. Everyone knows all of this stuff. I don't know any of it, so it's hard anyway. But Destiny definitely doesn't do a good
Yeah.
job of getting new players into it.
Right.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like my thoughts on like getting new players in is kind of changing or evolving going into games like Path of Exile and Monster Hunter that have like pre-existing games, big audiences and stuff, and like being really complex games too, and like working things out. Like sometimes like I would not be able to do this if I wasn't a streamer. Like I would be so lost. Like a lot of the time I'm asking questions to people who have played Monster Hunter before or who have played Path of Exile before, or like very familiar with like how mechanics work, and stuff like, oh, okay. But it's also what makes some of those games really great is the complexity to them. Like, if you have a shallow game, you're not going to stick around very long either. But then, how does the average person get into something like this? Or Warframe, that's another topic right now. Like,
Yeah.
people giving Warframe another crack with one of their biggest a big update they had, I think, and then the
1999.
Soulframe, and the Soulframe coming out. It's like, how do you onboard? But I think Destiny's biggest issue is just pricing and understanding the model. I think that's like
You
the
can't.
number
Yeah,
one
right
thing.
at the front door, you're like, what the?
I think the front door is
what?
the biggest thing. Yeah.
What? Yeah.
Like you can have complex systems that are hard to understand, but after playing Path of Exile and Monster Hunter and soon
Monster
Warframe,
Hunter at least is
you
like,
can work it out.
if you want to play Wilds, you don't need to play World, you don't need to play Rise, you don't need to play any. Like they're completely different games, so at least
It's
it
an
gets rid
entry
of
point.
that. Yeah, it gets rid of that. Like, oh, it's a 20-year-old game. I'm gonna be so lost because it's different. And I think that's why a lot of people played Path of Exile too, and they didn't play the first one because it was like,
Yeah.
oh, this would be
I
a
never
nice
played
time
the
to
first
jump
one.
Just-
Like,
I
in. I didn't play the
Yeah.
first one either. I mean, it helps. That's
I've
why
been saying
companies
that
do
for
it.
years.
That's why
Yeah.
companies do it. But then now I'm hearing from people in the community that they're like, I don't want a Destiny 3. I don't want to have to re-get all of my stuff and start from the beginning. So
Yeah. I was talking to my chat
It's
about
been
this.
out since 2017. Get
I
over it.
don't agree with them.
What I find is everybody wants Destiny 3 because in their mind it's like it's new and it'll be fun. But then I ask them like, well, what do you want? And they're like, it's like deer in headlights. I'm like, well, I haven't really thought about what I want in it. I just want it to be new, you know. And I think that's what they face.
Yeah, that's not my job. I'm not here. I'm not a game developer.
But like people, they can't tell me. I'm like, but what do you want to play?
want
like, what would it be like?
That's the end of the,
exactly.
That's the end of the
weapons,
answer.
new classes. New...
You know,
I'm the same.
Start. I want something new. I want new experiences.
I play Destiny very differently than other people, and I have always wanted like a Destiny release every 2 or 3 years, like just a big expansion. And then if you want to have like a dungeon that drops every year with like an update around it, and like I'd be down for that type of stuff. I don't like playing every week, but other people want that, and that I think is where I don't know what the player base is like.
Well, you know what the problem is, Fran. They made a game for everyone at some point. They decided we're making this game for everyone, and that's when things go bad.
Yeah. That plus committing to a live service game, you know, there's something happening every week, really, in terms of even refreshing the store, and it's just like exhausting to keep up with. I actually, real fast, I was gonna say, I reflected on, it would have been nice for Final Shape if all the episodes and everything just came out like the first, whether it's every 2 weeks or every month, then we would have been done with it and just waiting for the next thing.
I want to be like a very difficult partner in a relationship, and I don't know what I want, but I want you to know what I want, and I want you to surprise me with something I didn't know that I wanted yet, but really love.
Yeah,
friggin' high maintenance, Myelin.
I'll do that,
High
Myelin.
maintenance.
But I'm also gonna open the milk when I'm ready. Whether or not the old milk is finished yet, I'm opening the new bottle.
That's funny because on the last episode we did with Teft,
we were
got
talking about that with Teft. Yeah.
The discussion about like, do you finish the tube of toothpaste with every last drop and molecule, or do you go on to the next one? And he's like, well, you know, Meme's got this thing where she like opens the next thing first. She always has to be the first one to open it, and it drives me nuts.
But for me, the worst is when like there's a box of cereal or something and you have never touched it. Everyone else has dipped into it, you know, the wife, the kids, everybody. And then one night you're like, you know what? I think I'm gonna have a bowl. And you open it up, there's just a little bit left.
Yeah.
You're like, I guess, yeah.
Not enough for like a bowl of cereal, really.
So you finish it, you know, and then next morning, kids come down, they're like, can I have some of that cereal? And I'm like, oh, it's all gone. And then it's like, did you finish the cereal off last night? Whoa, let's pump the brakes, all right?
You're like, when you pranked me and left like a quarter cup of cereal in there, like that's not, That's the same with like milk and stuff too when you're in family. It's somebody's always leaving just that little. It's like,
because they don't want to throw out the can or the bottle or the box. So they just leave like just enough to justify
or like
not leaving it
soda's the worst, where it's just flat in the. You're like, why did you even bother doing that? Like,
Awesomeness says, one time in high school there was an annoying kid who kept talking to me. Destiny 2 had just dropped at the time, so when he asked me something, I looked at him and I shouted, "Irrelevant!" Have any of you even unironically quoted a Destiny character?
We always quote, even my wife, she doesn't play Destiny, but they always do. We always do that one from Lance Reddick.
Lance has great ones to quote.
Yeah.
I don't.
Surely
I always
Shax.
imitate.
I think I've said indeed a lot and done it in like a Zavala way, you know, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
It's funny because I have an Indeed that I do, but it's
no.
definitely something else. Indeed. Maybe it's Lord of the Rings.
Zavala says no. Does he say no to Kyle? He's like, no. Whatever.
No. I always quote it, but I don't think
I apologize to that dude. He might be making a murder list and your name's on it. So just
I've always kept that in mind since Billy Madison.
Yep.
Never be on anyone's list.
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's so good.
I think it's H Zarzab says, "Dear Myelin, I got a trivia question wrong on game night because apparently the artist of Nutbush City Limits is Ike and Tina Turner. How do I know who to believe?"
I mean, it's Tina Turner, but I've never heard of the first part of that.
You don't know who Ike is?
No?
Ike and Tina Turner. Ike was her husband and manager, I believe,
Yeah.
when she first started her solo career.
Wait, so they got it wrong because I didn't get the Ike part, and I'm getting blamed for this?
Yeah, yeah.
I got 50% of the good
I
code.
feel
what's
like you
happening.
should have been given the win from that. You should have been given the win
not-
from that for sure.
I'm 50% right, not 50% wrong.
I don't believe that
Also,
a trivia question
He's an asshole,
featuring
so you don't
Tina
even need
Turner?
to include him.
Ike was an asshole and beat Tina Turner.
Terrible
so
person.
I don't think he should get any credit for anything.
No.
I think Tina
No,
Turner
leave
should
him
be
out.
100% acceptable answer in the trivia, unless your trivia company, the person who's writing the trivia questions, are assholes. So you got some
I would say,
real
so you
questions on
support
your
domestic
hands.
violence, and then I bet you get the
Yeah.
win.
There it is.
Yeah, bring it
Yeah,
up.
who wrote this
Bring it up.
question? You're writing
You
the
bring it
wrong
up.
complaint letter. You're writing to me. You should be
Yeah.
writing to them.
Right? You
Yep.
need to write a
Uh-huh.
stern letter to Trivial Pursuit right now.
I'd write a letter. Yep.
That's it. That's all the questions for tonight.
We did it.
Oh, sweet.
Woo! Let's go, baby. Oh, I forgot to mention, if you're into Monster Hunter, the IGN is covering Monster Hunter all of January as part of IGN First.
Oh,
They
that.
dropped technically 4 new gameplay videos because they have IGN Japan and IGN World. I don't know. The IGN. Just IGN.
They
I don't
dropped
watch
most of the
IGN
territory.
anymore now that my second favorite
Yeah.
creator on the platform quit. Destin left.
Destin, yeah.
That's
Is-
true. We should
Is he
have
going to
Destin
start a
on. That would be
YouTube
fun.
channel, or has he already started one? Or
He's already had one for a long time. So yeah,
We
Destin
should get Destin
from
on and
Fireteam
have him talk
Chatham.
about all of his plans.
We should.
yeah,
That'd be fun.
that would be fun.
But you can watch gameplay of Rompopolo and Ajaricon in the oil well basin using a bunch of different weapons. Brand new gameplay. So yeah, that's
Should we
up
also-
now.
Should we talk about our Monster Hunter date yet, Watts? Or
Yeah, I'm
Ooh.
down.
yeah,
Mhm.
I believe unless something else gets in the way here, we got close because there's an Xbox event coming up on January 23rd. Is a new Xbox Direct or whatever. But on January 24th, Watts and I are getting together, and if you remember from our charity GCX donation goal, she's gonna backseat me, be telling me what to do all day on January 4th.
Alright.
So be
Yep.
sure
Hell
to
yeah.
keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I've never played
Yep.
it again, so
I'm putting
He's
this
never
in the
played
calendar
Bullet.
as we speak.
January 24th.
Do you know what
Jan
time? It's going to be late at night, right?
24th.
No, we'll do it earlier in the day when Watts normally gets on and all that. So
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna
believe
be
that's
a little.
pretty good.
I'll be
Wait, so
going
that's
probably a little bit later.
Oh, it's a day after.
yeah, we're gonna start the exact time, but definitely, we'll mention it probably next week and
All
so
right.
on.
Well, I'm
so.
putting it tentatively in my calendar for 8 p.m. on January 24th.
It'll likely be before that.
It'll be
right,
earlier
Watts?
than that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it'll be
Oh,
earlier than that.
Okay.
Don't worry. It's not on Fran time, even though she's backseating me, so we're on Watts time still. So
There we go.
all right.
All right,
I'm
guys.
excited about it.
Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week. We promise. No, we don't. We don't promise anything.
See y'all later.
Yeah. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.